because that's a field I'm about to go into.
Who was that?
Prince.
Prince?
Mhm.
Well, so I'll put my email in if you want to chat. Please give me an email. It's in your court, but I'd be glad to give you some
Definitely.
stories, so to speak.
Definitely.
Good day, Brahm. Good to see you.
Hello, good to be here. Good to see Matt and Mark Hunter here as well.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you for the invitation.
Let me know, like we are 6:59 p.m. IST right now, 1 minute to go. Let me quickly know when to start Toastmaster Manal Kanti Ghosh. I'll just wait for your signal. Or maybe
Start
presiding.
Within 1 minute. Start
Sure.
at 7.
Thank you. Meanwhile, I'd like to request all of you to please come over the camera. So I'll just take a quick permission from the presiding officer at 7 p.m. Can we start, please? Great. Can you all please confirm if the recording is on as well?
Yeah, I have already started the recording as well.
Okay, thank you.
ಇತ್ತಾನೆ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದು ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಸೇವ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕಾ?
Can the tech master please put everyone on mute, please? Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen.
ಇದು ಒಂದು ಫೋಟೋ ಇದೆ ವಾಟ್ಸ್ಆಪ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ. ಇದು ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ಬರ್ಬೇಕು ನನಗೆ. ಸೆಟ್ಟಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ನನಗೆ.
Okay. Probably someone put the search. I'll like to request the tech master please put everyone on mute except the surgeon arms, please. Okay. Thank you. Well, Harriet Tubman once said, every great dream begins with a dreamer. Always remember, you have within you the strength and patience and the passion to reach for the stars to change the world. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here to celebrate a milestone that Globetrotters Toastmasters Club has achieved. And before we officially take over and understand the journey of Globetrotters Toastmasters Club, may I please request each one of you to come over the camera, and with your smiling faces, can we have a big round of Zoom applause for Globetrotters Toastmasters Club? I get goosebumps when I think we were exactly planning that what should be the name of this club, when we thought, why not have a Toastmasters Club which would have members across the cosmos? Well, that is back then when we were thinking of naming this club, and today Globetrotters Toastmasters Club is celebrating its 100th meeting. Isn't it amazing? Isn't a dream come true, ladies and gentlemen? Well, we would understand how this club has come to this position. Meanwhile, welcome everyone. A morning, afternoon, and evening. I am distinguished Toastmaster Sejdev Jana, who is going to be the acting surgeon at arms for this special milestone meeting. Well, before we begin, and before we get our energy up and quick for this beautiful gathering, the reason why we all are gathered here, there are certain housekeeping rules which I wanted to request all of you to abide by. Well, in order to have a smooth meeting, here are some ground rules. Well, please put yourself on mute when not speaking. Do not interrupt while someone is speaking. Be attentive throughout the meeting, and please make sure if you have any electronic gadgets around you, if you could keep it on a silent mode. We would hate diversions, right? And support the speakers with your warm smiles and eco-friendly claps, maybe. Now, with that, let's have a great meeting. And before I go away, I wanted to request each one of you to refrain from using any derogatory remarks against politics, sex, and religion. And most importantly, the club mission. We provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Ladies and gentlemen, as I said, the journey has begun. We are all here to celebrate the 100th meeting. You got me right, we're going to celebrate it. Now, before I hand over this e-podium to the next person who's going to take over the stage from me, how if we all come on camera and once again give our eco-friendly claps for this club, because it takes a lot of hard work, trust me, ladies and gentlemen, to have the 100th meeting. It's time. I am going to call on stage the presiding officer. All my beautiful Toastmasters and extended Toastmasters. Well, there is this one reason why I love Toastmasters meeting, because you get to introduce the presiding officer numerous times in some innovative ways, right? Well, I wanted to break the cliche. Well, the presiding officer of Globetrotters Toastmasters Club is a Wonder Woman. You're wondering why Wonder Woman? Well, let me tell you, she can wear multiple hats. She is a strong mother. She has been working into the IT industry for 10 years in a row, and she has got some excellent magic when she comes on the podium and starts speaking. Well, people would always relate to the way she communicates with people. And I can 100% be sure the moment she comes on stage and starts speaking, you will all get that positive vibe from her. Well, she, for me, is a leadership as an example. Well, before I hand over the presiding officer this e-podium, may we please give her thunderous round of applause for Toastmaster Soumita Samantha, the presiding officer of this club. Ma'am, this e-stage is all yours. Thank you, and over to you.
Can we have a big round of applause for our stupendous Sergeant at Arms, distinguished Toastmaster Sheshdev Jana? He is not only our today's Sergeant at Arms, but to let you know, he was our club mentor while we chatted. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests. I, Toastmaster Soumita, serving president of Globetrotters Toastmaster Club, heartily welcome you to the 100th meeting, the milestone. Can you believe it? We have reached 100 meetings. It shows how far we have come as a club since we chartered in 8th of September 2021. In the past years, we have seen our club to grow from strength to strength. And our achievements are like, we have added 11 new members during one term, making Globetrotters Toastmaster Club as one of the largest club in our area. We were awarded with Golden Gavel on luster. Every term, we have multiple members to win the Triple Crown. We have also participated in various contests, and our club contestants like Toastmaster Mriral, Toastmaster Soumita, Toastmaster Sushmita has participated in division level contest also. We have always tried to do something new. In past, we had Yardley workshop and then celebrated Women's Day with Region 13 director of that time, DTM Gauri Sheshadri. And we had only women role players in that meeting. And the cherry on the top of the cake was during our 50th meeting. To celebrate our 50th meeting, we had past international president Lark Dole, DTM, along with many international speakers. As we celebrate the 100th meeting today, I want to share our club vision with everyone. Globetrotters Toastmaster Club is not only a place where we learn and practice public speaking and leadership skills, but also it's a place where we have fun and we have made a lot of friends for life. Globetrotters Toastmasters Club is a place where we support each other and inspire each other. And to achieve our vision, we have a couple of specific goals like retaining the golden gavel for this term also. Increase our membership by at least 25% before February 2024. Conducting at least one special event every quarter, and also maintaining an average attendance of at least 80% in every meeting. Are you feeling it's too ambitious? I think it's achievable as we always believe in teamwork. We need to hold each other's hand. And we are always open to get feedback. I request everyone to share their ideas and feedback to us, like how we can grow. Before I move ahead further, I can see our district director is present in this room. I request Zoom Master to spotlight him, and I invite our District 124 Director, DTM Zahid Hossain, to take this e-podium. DTM Zahid, could you please share your thoughts on GTC's success, or do you have any message for us? DTM Zahid, the e-podium is on you.
Thank you, Soumita. Am I audible?
Yes, you
All
are
right,
perfectly
wonderful.
audible.
And I can see myself on the screen as well, so I am visible as well. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. It's wonderful to see such a meeting in front of me where I see diversity, I see members from around the world. This is amazing. First of all, let me tell you that my doctor has advised me not to look at the screen much because I recently had an eye surgery. But the light I see in this meeting, I just could not control myself and look at the screen, at least for next some times. This is amazing. And of course, the members of Globetrotters, I see the light on your eyes and the pride you have now with 100 meeting happening. This year, 100 is a word which we are celebrating like anything. One of the main reasons is we have actually stepped onto the 100th year. The 99th year of Toastmasters International is over. And now we are actually running in this 100th year. So when 100 is coming in front of us nowadays, this is very, very special. When I joined Toastmasters, I never thought that I'll be able to be a part of any club which might have had 100 meetings. I had very less idea about Toastmasters when I joined in. But today, when I am a part of Toastmasters for the last 7-8 years, and to see our clubs having 100 meetings, 50th meeting, 200 meeting, it's just amazing. Congratulations, members and leaders. This is amazing work. I see leaders from all around the world, and I also see Matt Kinsey, my president, I would say, one of my favorite presidents. Welcome to District 124, sir. And to all of you, welcome to Globetrotters and District 124. Thank you for having me. And I look forward to looking at the screen for some times more till my doctor calls me and says, stop it. Take care, everyone. Best of luck. Have a wonderful meeting. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, DTM Zahid. Thank you so much for your appreciating words. Now it's time to welcome two very special person on stage. Let me share my screen to do so. Hope everyone can see my screen. So it's time to welcome our Toastmasters of the day. So our first Toastmaster of the day is an IT telecom professional with 17 years of experience. She is an entrepreneur, founder member of technical writer community. She is immediate area director and currently serving as division director in District 3. She is Chartered Vice President Education of Globetrotters Toastmaster Club, as well as she has served as president in the past. She is none other than my very favorite, my mentor, Toastmaster Soumita Sengupta. And our second Toastmaster of the day is a CompTIA and Microsoft certified IT professional. Part-time, he is DJ, observational humorist, animal lover, fan of cars and auto racing. Oh my God, he is 3 times DTM. Member of 8 clubs in 3 districts, District 3, District 103, District 44. He is working on graphics for the District 103 Spring Conference 2024. He is currently laying out the District 103 newsletter, The Loop. He is none other than DTM Prince G. Leftridge 2. Now it's time to hand over the e-podium to our Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Soumita Sengupta. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Sushmita, the presiding officer for today, for that wonderful throwback to Globetrotters Toastmasters Club, and of course, introducing me and distinguished Toastmasters Prince as the Toastmaster of the day. Please, please, please keep the round of applause going as we move with the fabulous 100th meeting of GTC, Globetrotters Toastmasters Club. Dear ladies, gentlemen, and esteemed guests, GTC was started on 8th of September 2021, especially for members who had a panache for communication, travel, and have members from every corner of India. We believed in cultural diversity and the statement, the world is one family. Let me give you some strong fact on the ideology of GTC, as this was the only club to conduct meeting with 3 countries, India, Bangladesh, and Pakistan, on the theme river, where the whole motto was to spread Toastmasters across boundaries, just like a river does. Many esteemed members graced that special meeting. GTC was also the only club which conducted speech marathon, where one speaker was evaluated by 3 evaluators, and it was a global evaluation conducted on a club level. Truly, GTC symbolizes the theme of ours today. The world is one family. Dear ladies and gentlemen, when we see Toastmasters, we see the world is one family. Here, cross-generational family members find connections, camaraderie, and conversation through Toastmasters. And it is quite evident in today's meeting as well. I still remember when I first joined the Toastmasters, when I held the microphone, filled my lungs with air, remembered my God, and with trembling feet, moved towards the stage. That was my first attempt to deliver a speech in Toastmasters. Born in a town in India, I was enrolled to the best English medium school of town. Yet, when I joined Toastmasters, communication seemed to be of different level and needed utmost practice. Now, as I have covered my pretty few years in Toastmasters, I find that leadership, communication, confidence, and the drive are the attributes of a Toastmasters global family. In fact, I have few mentors that I would call my mother and father figures. Well, they aren't my parents, not my birth parent, or of my family origin, but these are the people I got from this wonderful family, rather global family of Toastmasters. Tell me, dear people, on a scale of 1 to 10, how likely are you to recommend Toastmasters to a family member? You can write it in the chat box on a scale of 1 to 10. Yes, I knew it. I knew it that it will be 10 on 10. For the Toastmasters tribe, the answer will be resounding 10. And for this global family, I give a big shout out. Thank you so much. And Toastmasters also provide. Toastmasters also teaches us more than just communication and leadership skill. It provides a common language, a shared experience, and an opportunity to see one another in different light. It strengthens our relationship, and all of which begs the question that Toastmasters is one such big global family. Now, Prince, what do you think of Toastmasters as a global family?
Globally, there can be as many as 5 distinct generations in any Toastmasters club. This means there's tremendous opportunity for growth and understanding. We understand from our fellow members as we teach, inspire, and encourage each other. Having a wide range of ages and experience levels in a club brings fresh opportunities to work and learn from each other in a safe environment. In our club, we have generational diversity, which is amazing. I'm inspired by my passion of fellow members, and both older and younger than myself have for Toastmasters. Members of different generations offer diverse perspectives and skills, largely based on their life experiences, the times in which they've lived, and the culture that surrounds them. Introducing our first moderator and keynote speaker, Matt Kinsey, DTM, that would be Myrna Ghosh.
We will be going with the introduction of Mrinal, the moderator for speaker 1. I think, Prince, you can go ahead with it.
Okay, thank you. Toastmaster Myrno is working as a market access manager at GlaxoSmithKline. He's been in Toastmasters for the past 2.5 years. Myrno is currently serving as an area director in District 124 and is always driven by passion. Please welcome Myrno Ghosh to this virtual speaking area.
Mrinal will be moderating the session for our first keynote speaker. So our first keynote speaker is the Managing Director and Chief Information Security Officer of IT Fusion, LLC in Coral Spring, Florida. His Toastmasters journey, which began in 2003, is a testament of his unwavering dedication to Toastmasters. His achievements are nothing short of remarkable. He had held numerous high-profile leadership positions and has earned the esteemed title of Distinguished Toastmasters 5 times. His journey is a source of inspiration to us all. As Matt Kinsey so aptly puts it, I have learned that to be most successful, you need to lead with your heart and not with your head. This invaluable insight reflects his philosophy on leadership and will undoubtedly enrich our 100th meeting. Another thing, in 2014, our speaker ran for the Toastmasters International Board of Directors. He was not elected. In 2016, he again ran and was elected. Now, what made the difference? Today, our speaker will share with us few of the lessons he had to learn to be successful in his goal of serving on the Toastmasters board. These lessons eventually propelled him where he sits today as the immediate past international president. Please join me in welcoming distinguished Toastmaster Matt Kinsey as he shares his journey from KL to DC. Sir, the podium is all yours.
Thank you. I've been on a fascinating journey, as I'm sure many of you have, throughout my career. And in 2014, I attended the International Convention in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, the first international convention outside of North America. One of your other keynote speakers, Mark Hunter, was there. That was the first time I met him face to face. I think probably the only time I met him face to face, although we followed each other. And I ran for election. Now, I got 35% of the vote. For you math majors out there, that is not a majority. And I was a little dejected. I thought I'd had a really good chance to win. But over the next couple of hours, Toastmasters, as they are wont to do, especially those from Australia, were coming up to me going, Matt, please run again. please run again. There's something in you. Now, what was really interesting was our world champion that year, Dhananjaya Hadirachdi, his title was, I see something in you, but I don't know exactly what it is. One of the differences, people were telling me what they saw in me, and they saw the potential. So I decided to run again. What made the difference for me? One of the things is I got back home, and within a week, I started calling people. And I would call people and say, Matt, you observed me during the convention. You observed my campaign. What did you see? What do I need to work on? What's going to be better? And I've got to be honest with you, well-meaning, the advice I got was worthless. What I heard from people over and over again, oh, Matt, you ran a great campaign. You just ran into a better candidate. Oh, Matt, I don't really know what you could have done better. You did a great campaign. Now, when I officially put my paperwork in to run again a year later, I called people again and said, look, it's been a year. Do you have any thoughts? And boy, did the advice change from the exact same people. And what I realized was that reflection requires separation. And it requires two types of separation. One, it requires emotional separation. See, in the immediate aftermath, I still felt the pain of the loss. I was still processing those emotions. And I think the people I was talking to felt that. And they felt like they were trying to make me feel better. Because that's what many people, especially in Toastmasters, do, right? Somebody goes up there and does a terrible speech, and they know it. Everyone in the room does it. And what do? We lift them up. And we tell them, here's what you did well, here's what you can do better, and we're looking forward to your next speech. Okay? And we're hoping it's going to be better. But that's what we do. And so they were lifting me up. But the second thing is it needed time. Now, some people are very fast processors. I tend to process information quickly. Some people are more deliberate processors. That has nothing to do with intelligence. Okay? It's just the speed at which they process information. They take a more deliberate approach. And the people I was talking to primarily were people who needed time to think through what I could have done differently. And the advice I got the second time was spot on. Now, in 2016, I received a book right here. I think Mark Hunter recognizes this book. It's his book, Voice of the Bonsai, A Conversation on Leadership. Heavily recommended. I did not have this book when I was running. It might have helped me a little bit. So if you're interested in getting another perspective on leadership, really recommend you check out Mark's book. I'm sure he can, if you send him a message, I'm sure he can tell you how to get a copy of it. But I found it very useful, but I didn't have it at the time. I wish I had. Also didn't have access to Brahm Memone's information where he's got his Global Leadership Summit. So I had to go find a coach. And when I found a coach, we started to find some things. And the biggest thing we found were barriers. I'm going to share my barriers. Your barriers may be completely different. All right. And so I don't want you to focus too much on what my barrier was and how it does, although some of you may have similar barriers. I want you to focus on the process I went through, right? Because each of us is different. And I don't know what your barriers are because I haven't seen you operate. So what was my first barrier? This was the question I was getting is, who are you? And that's a painful question because I'd spent thousands of phone calls, over 1,000 phone calls. I'd interviewed every single district leader that would take my time in Kuala Lumpur, 89 districts at that time. And I spoke to probably 80 of the 89 districts. Your district director knows that process, going through it and sitting there and talking to all of the candidates and finding out about them. And they're like, who are you? We could tell you're a smart guy. We could tell that you have a lot of ideas, but who are you inside? And when I began to reflect on this, I realized that something that had happened to me when I was 16 years old. And here I am in my 40s, and it was still impacting me. And it was a barrier I had created to keep people out because of a traumatic experience with people who I thought were my friends. And my campaign manager, Catherine McGillivray from Melbourne, as a past district director with me, I went up to her because she and I connected very quickly. And I was like, Catherine, do I have this barrier to keep people out? And I'm expecting her to go, no. She goes, oh my God, yes, it's so thick. And I was like, but we connected quickly. And she said something I will never forget. She goes, Matt, I saw something in you that I wanted a piece of that in my life. And I was willing to go through the effort to break through your barrier. Most people won't do that. Most people won't do that. And in an attempt to protect myself emotionally, what I had really done was I had cut myself off from dozens of meaningful, deep relationships with people. What about you? Do you let people see who you are? Some people call it transparency. Some people call it authenticity. And let's be honest, we need some private space, even from those who are closest to us. We need that inner sanctum that no one else gets into. But the more you let people in, the more fulfilled you will be, and the more that they will respond to you as you are. See, your most precious currency is your authenticity. If people know who you are and what makes you tick because you share that with them. So what did I have to do? I have to start sharing stories where I would tell people, well, I thought this. And not just share the outcome of the story, but share the process of going through the story. And this is a great technique in storytelling. Say, this happened to me, and here's what I thought. Here's what was going on inside my head. Because what I found in storytelling is people want to know more what you think than what you know. And it's kind of weird. They really want to understand your thinking process more than the knowledge you have, because they want to know what makes you tick. Some of you, if you've read the September magazine from last year, know that I'm an amateur cyclist. I recently surpassed 400,000 kilometers on a bicycle in my lifetime. And I was a cycling racer, an amateur racer. And one race, my job was to be the lead out. My coach came up to me and goes, Matt, you're going to be the lead out guy today. Now, if you've never watched the Tour de France or any big bike race, this is the guy who gets up front and he's the next to last guy leading the race for a team. Because he's supposed to get the speed up really high, and then the team sprinter will go around him and try to win the race. So they're only facing the wind for a little bit. So there we are. We're coming around. Last lap. I'm going really good. We've got about 400 meters to go. And out of the corner of my eye, I saw Prince. I know you're with me here. I saw the most beautiful woman I had ever seen in my life. And I got distracted. And the scene you see here is pretty close to what happened. I took out 30 riders, including my entire team. So afterwards, of course, my team captain was not very happy with me. And once he finally found me from where I was hiding, he's like, Matt, what that happened? And I'm like, I don't know. I went, he goes, Matt, you got distracted. And I had to look at him and go, yeah, I got distracted. He goes, I just got one question for you, Matt. Was she worth it? Now think about this. Here is a woman that I saw out of the corner of my eye for a fraction of a second. I don't know her name. I've never spoken to her. I've never seen her again. But my momentary distraction took me and my team out of action. And when I was running for international director in 2014, I was distracted. I lost my mom in 2012. I lost my dad in 2013. I was still feeling that. I'd had a rough year with my team as a district director in 2012, 2013. And so I had a lot of distractions, but they kept me from focusing on my goal. See, distraction equals out of action. What about you as a leader? Are you focused on what matters, or are you chasing shiny objects? I mean, there's a lot of good ideas out there, but what we need isn't good ideas. We need great ideas. We need ideas that make us go, wow, that will really change things. Because good ideas are just that, and they're great. But in this time of change, in this time of uncertainty, good ideas aren't enough. We need people to spend the time to get great ideas. This was my biggest question, okay? React or respond. So I'm going to be a little bit dangerous here, all right? And I'm going to preface this by saying, I know not all men think this way and not all women think this way, okay? Are we clear there? So I'm not making any aspersions on you as an individual, but this is what the research suggests about men and women in general. So let me ask you this. For the women in the group, if you go to your significant other and say, hey, I want to talk, how many of you want the other person to solve your problem? Okay, I don't see a single hand up. Okay, now for the men in the group, if your significant other comes up to you and says, hey, I have a problem, how many of you want to fix that problem? All right, most of the men's hands are up. When people came to me with questions as a candidate, I would look and say, oh, here's the answer. And that's not what they wanted. What they wanted was the conversation. See, I was reacting. Now, I worked as a lifeguard. I don't know if they use the same term in India. I know they do in Australia and the US, but a lifeguard is a person who works at the beach and they're sitting up and they're watching to make sure everybody's staying safe. Okay, I'm seeing some nodding heads. You get the concept. And the worst thing you can do as a lifeguard is to get into the water. Okay, now there are times where it's necessary, but it's the most dangerous thing you can do. You need to go through your checklist and go through all the tools you have and do everything you can to stay out of the water. Because if a person is drowning and they're panicking, they are throwing elbows, they're kicking, they're biting, they're scratching, they're trying to push you down, everything they can to get their head out of the water, and they're not thinking rationally. So you use everything else you have at your disposal to help save them before you put your hands on them. Okay, now at times it is necessary, but you do that. So you have to respond and go through your checklist. The same thing in my job, IT security, don't react if there's a breach, respond. Go through your checklist, make sure everything is done. See, people were describing a problem and I was giving them a solution. Now, there are times where that's necessary. But during the interviews, what they wanted that middle box there that I was missing, the listening. Okay? They wanted to describe a problem. They wanted me to listen to their problem. They wanted their voice to be heard. And then at times, they didn't even need the solution. Have you ever gone to somebody and asked for advice, and as you describe the situation, all of a sudden you realize what you need to do? Yeah. Okay, you just needed to be able to talk through it with somebody, and you didn't even need the solution. So now when someone comes to me for advice after they describe the problem, after I listen through it, I will usually ask them, are you looking for advice? And less than 25% of the time do I actually get, yes, I'm looking for advice. Most of the time they're like, no, I just wanted to talk through it. What about you? Do you jump to the solution when someone brings some problem to you? Or do you go through and really listen to what they're talking about and then decide whether the solution is even necessary? Does the question require an answer or a conversation? Now, there are times it requires an answer, okay? But this is a thought process that you would want to go through. This is one of my most important lessons. What I heard from people, and this relates somewhat to who are you, is are you leading with your head? Now, head leadership is very important. That's focusing on results, objectives, and strategies. And I'm running for a board of directors position that focuses on what? Results, objectives, and strategies. So that's a critical skill to have for a leader. Are you leading with your hands? Leading with your hands is very important as well. That's doing the work with the team, leading by example, focusing on the tasks to get done, setting high standards. Okay, as a district director, Zahid at times will need to lead with his hands. He's got to pick it up and, you know, roll up the sleeves and get the work done. And this is really important. Or are you leading with your heart? People, relationships, and connection. Which are you focused on? I was focused on getting in my head. I was in my head all the time, thinking of goals, objectives, strategies. And that's still my default place because I grew up in a household where academic success really mattered. And other areas of success were far less significant. I'm not scarred by it, but that's just the reality. So when I'm under stress, I go to my head. I want to out intellect the problem. Some of you are nodding your heads. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay. And sometimes that's not what it needs. And when you start with a team and when you're getting to know people, you need to start with your heart. That's what I meant in that quote that was shared earlier. To be the most effective leader, you need to lead with your heart and not your head. Lead with that. That doesn't mean you never use your head. That doesn't mean you never use your hands. That means you start with your heart. And the best way to share that is with an example. So several years ago, I was at a conference led by the late, great Bob Proctor. If you're not familiar with Bob Proctor, he was the producer of the movie The Secret. Okay, the Toronto Tornado, one of the most famous speakers ever in the professional circuits. And at this convention, the MC comes up to us in lunch and says, ladies and gentlemen, over lunch, I want you to go out on the streets of Scottsdale, Arizona, find a stranger and take them to lunch, and then come back and talk about it. Now, I am a get or done kind of guy. If you give me a task, I love, how many of you love checklists? Man, I love checklists. You know, I got to check that off. Whether it's the most important thing on my list or not, I got that box checked. It gives me psychological fulfillment. And so here I've got a task and I'm out there trying to get somebody to go to lunch with me. Now, I don't know how well this would work where you live, but where I was in Scottsdale, it was not going well. I walk up to somebody and say, hey, can I take you to lunch? And they'd be like, no, 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 no. And they'd run away. I don't know if they thought I was trying to get them to sell a multi-level marketing company, asking them out on a date or convert them to my religion, but they wanted nothing to do with me. And I was getting frustrated. I'm like, I'm not going to succeed. That is not acceptable. I'm going to go back and say, I couldn't get someone to go to lunch with me. No, that's not acceptable. How can I get someone to go to lunch with me? And I start hearing this voice in the back of my head, and I'm trying to ignore it because I'm trying to fix a problem. And all of a sudden I realized it was my mom's voice. All right, now my household, and I think this is pretty universal, you better listen to your mother, right? You better listen to your mother. And I realized what she was saying was, Matt, in whatever you do, find the purpose. Now, I know that's completely different from what Simon Sinek says, where Simon says, you know, go out and find your why and then do. She's saying you're doing something, find the why in what you are doing. And I said, well, you know what? I want to thank a veteran for his service. And I pictured this older gentleman with white wispy hair, a ball cap, a cane, and I thought the word Arizona, but I'm in Arizona, no big deal, right? I stood up. Subaru, I went around the corner, and he was right in front of me, the exact gentleman that I had pictured. And I went up to him and said, sir, would you please go have lunch with me? He looked at me and goes, why? Well, this is a good start. He's not running away. And I said, well, I made a decision a few minutes ago that I wanted to thank a veteran for his service. I noticed your cap, and would you please do the honor of going to lunch with me? And he goes, well, my mama told me never turn down a free lunch. And you better listen to your mother, right? So we went inside, ordered our food, started a conversation. His name was Bill. And finally I said, Bill, you know, I noticed your cap. It says the Arizona. Did you know somebody on the Arizona? He goes, know someone? Boy, I was on the Arizona. I will never forget that day. It was just before roll call in the morning. And I heard the sirens go off. And the first thing I thought was, man, we got another air raid, another drill. Oh, man, come on. And then I realized that all of my shipmates were pointing out across the horizon. And those planes, they were not our planes. The next minutes felt like seconds and hours as there were bombs and torpedoes. The stack behind me blew up and I got thrown into the water. And as I struggled to keep my head above the waves, I watched my ship sink to the bottom of Pearl Harbor. I'll never forget that day. Finally, the silence was broken out by who else? The waiter. As he brought the check over. And I picked up the check and I started to pull my wallet out and it was snatched out of my hands. And I looked up and Bill was smiling at me. And I said, Bill, I told you I wanted to take you lunch. He goes, yeah, I know what you said. So what? The only thing I could think to say in that moment was, well, my mama told me never turn down a free lunch. See, I almost missed that moment because I was focused on the task and not the assignment. The assignment was to start with my heart. The assignment was to connect with another human being and have a life lesson. So what about you? These are some of the lessons I had to learn. What is inhibiting your leadership? And the best way to find out is to talk to those who are close to you, that you trust, who have your best interests in mind, and to say, what's keeping me from being all that I could be? Because if you got the courage and the tenacity to address those challenges, you will become the leader that you deserve to be. Mr. Toastmaster.
Wow. Thank you, Matt, for sharing your transformation journey as a leader. I also believe first you burn yourself to ignite others. And some you take about some keynotes. It's absolutely. Are you leading with your hands? Are you leading with your heart? Or are you connect with your people, relation and connections? Such as an amazing, very few people can follow that. I know that's, we can only learn from struggles. We can't learn from success. And thank you for sharing your transformation journey with us. So I just want to know to all the audience, if you have any questions, you can just write it down in the chat box. So one question is coming, that what was the main lessons that you learned from your loss in 2014?
I think the most important lesson I learned was I really wanted it. You know, you go through something and you're like, do you really want it? And the level of pain you feel when you don't get it is a great indicator of how much you really wanted it. So that was one lesson. Number two was to open up and be more authentic, more transparent, whatever word you want to use. That was the biggest thing. And it was fun. I think that looking back on it, probably the biggest lesson is how small changes in behavior can create significant differences in the way you are perceived, good or bad. Because for 3 or 4 years, people were coming, oh my goodness, Matt, you've changed so much. And I did not feel any different inside. Okay. Now, eventually I did. I remember sitting with past international president Deepak Menon. And I remember him saying, Matt, you changed so much. And I looked at him and said, and I feel it now. Because a couple of things had happened. And I went, wow, I'm looking at things differently now. But that wasn't an immediate process. The external change was seen before the internal change, because it was just the way I presented myself. And there wasn't a lot of I thought I was very open to ideas and other people's ideas, and people were telling me I wasn't. I changed the way I interacted, and all of a sudden, like, oh, he's very open to it. But I didn't feel any different inside.
So another question asked by Toastmaster Brahm: how does leading from the heart help Toastmasters and clubs? How does leading from the heart help Toastmasters and clubs?
We are at the very core we are a relationship organization. All right. It's people pouring of themselves into others. And if you focus on, at the club level, if you focus on the goals of your members first, and their well-being, make sure you schedule good meetings with good evaluations so you can help people get their goals, and getting a diversity of speakers and a diversity of evaluators. Okay, so that I'm not hearing Mark Hunter, evaluate me for the 15th time in the last 2 years. All right, eventually Mark runs out of things to say. Okay, probably not Mark, but others run out of things to say. All right, so I think those are things that are really helpful. At the district, again, it's about your team. Richard Branson says it really well. Okay, Richard Branson, and he's talking in a business sense. He goes, his customers are not his number one concern. His number one concern are his employees. Because if he treats his employees well, they'll treat the customers well. And that's a very different perspective from the customer's always right. And he goes, no, the customer's not always right. It's our job to make them right. So very different perspective of who's providing the service and who do you do that. So at your district, if you focus on the well-being of your area directors, they're going to provide great service to the clubs. You focus on the well-being of the division directors, they're going to provide great service to the area directors. And then you as a district director can focus on the things that only the district director can do.
This is a great answer. So I think we treat as a relationship organization as a Toastmasters.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm totally equal with you. And I know that's why we all are here, to sharing our positive influence circle with each other. So another question is, how did you prepare yourself for running for international director again in 2016 after your setback?
Well, I'm kind of scared to share this because I don't want anyone to think that it's what's required for everybody. It's what I needed. Okay, and I spent over 3,000 hours of preparation time over 3 years because I never stopped once I started running until I was elected. I never stopped. But I had a coach who helped me see things that I couldn't see in myself. All right. And they saw both potential and they saw things that were blocking me. And it was a coach who cared about me. And I spent money on it. This was a professional coach. It was an executive coach because I realized it's an executive position. And that's the way I approached it. So I approached it as in, this is a very significant piece of my life and I'm willing to devote a lot of time to it. Other people don't need that. They've got some of those things well in hand and they've learned those lessons through other life experiences. But that's how I prepared. But I study the name, and Zahid can tell you, and Abba can tell you, I think I saw her on here. I greeted every single district director by name at the convention, every single one. And I only missed 2, okay, where I got their names wrong. All right. And that's because I spent time on it. That was another part of my preparation. Another part of my preparation was knowing where every district is in the world, okay, and what their history was. So I made sure I was knowledgeable so that I didn't have to worry about facts and I could focus on people. And that knowing the facts freed me up to focus on people, which is kind of weird when you think about it. It's like memorizing your speech. I'm a big believer in memorizing your speech because if I memorize my speech and I know word for word what I'm going to say, I'm totally free to play with the audience. Okay, and have fun with the audience because I'm not thinking about the next word that's coming out. All I'm thinking about is how am I presenting to the audience, because the words are so ingrained in me, I could stop mid-sentence and then come back later and pick up right where I was. So that's the way I approach it. But I'm not saying that works for everybody. That's just for me.
I think it's 3,000 hours of preparations in 3 years, dedicated coach, and we prepare. And one thing is important, as a Toastmaster, you should learn that you should focus on people and how you can serve your people and call you by name and their culture, their history. Amazing answer. So another question asked by, what are the qualities that you believe Toastmasters need right now?
It's very different around the globe. Okay. So India since looks like the majority of you are from India, India just needs to continue to do what they do and make sure that they're electing quality leaders, but you often have great options. You know, you often have competition for district leadership positions. Okay, you usually have it. And so you can really get to know those people and think who best represents where our district's going. All right. Australia is our second oldest median age country after Japan. And so Australia needs younger leaders, in my view. They need younger people to step forward, and they need to get out of the way of the younger leaders doing their job. Okay, this is on average. The United States has a similar problem because we're also a very high median age. All right, Canada has a similar problem. Eastern Europe, India, China, they tend to be much younger on their average age. So
Yes.
they don't have some of the life experience. So we've got to be able to call on people who've got experiences that are different from ours. All right. To me, that is the heart of diversity, equity, and inclusion is life experience and understanding that Prince's life experience is different from Sushmita's life experience, is different from Mark's, and honoring that life experience and saying, what can I learn and what can we do together out of that? I think that's something that's going to help all of us as an organization, is if we truly understand the importance of individual life experiences.
That's
In the US, people need to look at Toastmasters as an opportunity, well, especially leadership positions, as an opportunity instead of a burden. And I know on average in India, in the Middle East, and China, Africa, they look at it more as an opportunity than a burden. So that has a huge role to do. The way you look at a leadership opportunity really will limit or expand your potential.
So last questions for now. And if any other questions are there, we can discuss later. So last question for the day. Are there any notable leaders or organizations that you admire for their ability to lead with head, hands, and heart? What you can
Absolutely. Deepak Menon certainly comes to mind. Richard Peck, I never thought Richard would embrace his heart leadership, and he has done so remarkably because it's what the organization needed. But he's very much ahead. He and I have very similar approaches and some similar challenges. Lark Doley, if you want to watch someone who leads with their heart, watch Lark Doley.
Golden Lady.
Amazing. If you want to see someone who's got a really good balance, probably the best balance of anyone who I kind of it'd be on a par between Muhammad Murad and Balraj Arnasalam. Okay, because both of them have this ability to be very fluid between head, heart, and hands. And those were the two I kind of tried to emulate the best qualities of within while being authentic to me. So those are some people I would look at. And I would just, I'm honored to be here. Congratulations on 100 club meetings. That's amazing. Can keep up the great work. And I'm glad to see a global presence here online.
Thank you for sharing your amazing transformation journey with us. And it's a great learning for all of us. It's time to implement in our own life. Thank you so much for your precious time. Now I just want to hand over the sessions to our Toastmaster of the day, Soumita and friends. Over to you.
We would like to thank our keynote speaker, distinguished Toastmaster, Matt Kinsey, for his amazing speech, which covered his journey from Kale to DC. Now going forward, I would like to call two important persons from District 124, of course, one by one. So I would like to call our Club Growth Director of District 124, distinguished Toastmaster Abha Ohri, to say a few words on the 100th session of Globetrotters Toastmasters Club. Ma'am, we would like to have you in the virtual podium. The e-podium is all yours.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Soumita. I am so happy to be here. I cannot tell you, not just because it is your 100th session, but as your name suggests, the Globetrotters, you've got a galaxy of such experienced and impressive Toastmasters, distinguished Toastmasters here, and none other than Matt, Hi, Matt. It is so great to be here. And I must say, as I told you in the Bahamas, I was absolutely taken aback when you met me and immediately mentioned my name. And I remember going and asking him, how is it you knew my name? And he said he'd done his homework. So I think that has really touched a chord within me. And I have learned a lot from you ever since then, that it's all about the people and it's all about how we treat everyone around us. I think of all the core values of Toastmasters, I take respect as very, very important. And I think you're an epitome of respect. So thank you so much for coming here and for reinforcing this belief in all of us. And kudos to you guys. All the best. Keep going like this and keep growing.
Thank you so much for your wonderful words. A big round of applause for distinguished Toastmaster Abha Ohri. And now I would request our Program Quality Director of District 124, Gaurav Agarwal, to say a few words on the 100th session of Globetrotters Toastmasters Club. Gaurav, the podium is all yours.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Good evening, fellow members and leaders of Globetrotters Toastmasters Club and all the guests and other Toastmasters who are joining us from across the globe. Welcome, Matt, distinguished Toastmaster Matt Kinsey. As our district director mentioned, you are our president, and it was a pleasure to meet you in Bahamas. And what a great time that we had. And today is a day of centuries, right? We had Virat Kohli scoring his 49th century and equaling the record of Sachin Tendulkar. And we have also got the Globetrotters Club scoring their 100th, or rather hosting their 100th club meeting. Kudos, a round of applause to all the members of Globetrotters Toastmasters Club, the past executive committee members and the current executive committee members. It is not easy to conduct meetings week after week. And it takes a lot of hard work. It takes a lot of perseverance and a lot of, I think, last minute adjustments, because we have a lot of dropouts, as most of you would have experienced that someday or the other in your club meetings as well. It's a special meeting. It's a special day, but I'm sure this is just the first milestone. I'm sure Globetrotters will score their 200th or the double century club meetings in a couple of years, and then moving on to that. It's a special day. It's a special feeling, and I hope you keep on doing the great work. I love the fact about the club that we do not only have members who are geographically present in the regions that District 124 covers, but we have members across the globe. And one of the best parts of this, best thing about this is that it allows the members to, experience the culture and diversity of the Toastmasters community across the world. So thank you so much for bringing in members from across the globe and making us feel that, okay, they are also part of our home and giving us that enriching experience. Thank you so much for inviting me and having me here. I wish the club all the best, and I'm sure there are many more milestones to come. And back to you, Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Soumita.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Gaurav. A big round of applause for distinguished Toastmaster Abha and Gaurav Agarwal. And please keep this positive vibe going, because as Gaurav rightly stated, it's a win-win situation for India and it's a win-win situation for Globetrotters Toastmasters Club. Now, as Matt illustrated in his speech, we can talk about Toastmasters spanning the world. Together, we are one family where collaboration is vital. Different generation might have different expectation and ways of communicating, but no method is inherently better than one another. Just because one club member does something differently than you, it does not mean they are doing it in a wrong way. Regardless of age, people join Toastmasters who are all having a common goal. What's that common goal? To improve their communication and leadership skill and to gain more opportunities. Think of each Toastmasters Club as its your own team. Everyone of that team brings different skills, experience, and expertise. There are veterans, rookies, and everyone in between. And that's the fun of being in Toastmasters. The spectrum of skills and experience adds greatly to the fabric of the team. Now, Prince, how have you benefited by collaborating in Toastmasters?
Well, Soumita, the best way to express that is with my professional experience. In IT, we are more known as problem solvers. We're trying to resolve an issue or resolve a situation within our environment that either is a security problem or even a situation where we're trying to create a solution from an existing problem. The problem with that is we don't always know how to lead with our heart. We don't always know how to listen. We just know how to follow a checklist and provide that solution. With Toastmasters, we've learned how to do those things and then some. Because in my years as a Toastmaster, I've been in Toastmasters since 2009. I've learned how to communicate more effectively with people who have little to no understanding of what we do in IT. It's rather interesting because people, like Matt said, they want you to listen. They want to have that conversation. And usually when I'm speaking with them, I allow them to have that conversation. But in the same time, I'm utilizing the skill that we all in Toastmasters use, which is active listening. We have to actively listen to get to the root cause so we can provide that solution that they are so desperately looking for. Back to you, Soumita.
Thank you, Prince, for sharing your experience. And definitely we will talk a lot about it while we are in the flow. Now let's move forward with our second keynote speaker. And before introducing our second keynote speaker, I would like to introduce the moderator for the second keynote speaker, who is none other than Distinguished Toastmasters Prince. Prince is a three-time Distinguished Toastmasters, an IT professional with 23 years of experience, and he is a DJ by passion who is exceptionally witty with an engaging presence. Prince usually tinkers with some technological device or play music from various genres. Prince holds multiple information technology certifications, including Computer TIA, Lenovo, Dell, and Microsoft. And the list is just endless. And he is currently a member of 7 clubs in 2 districts, District 3 and District 103. Now, here comes the wonderful person, our second keynote speaker, who is none other than Distinguished Toastmaster Mark Hunter. Mark Hunter is an accomplished speaker who has represented his Australian district in the Toastmasters World Championship of Public Speaking 3 times. In 2007, he placed 3rd, and in 2009, he won the title of World Champion of Public Speaking. His work life has seen him in multiple leadership roles, including school principal for over 30 years, CEO of Hopeful Hospice on the Gold Coast, chair of the Brisbane Disability Council, and various leadership roles in Toastmasters. In this role, he has often been a trailblazer. He now runs his own business training speakers in both the private and corporate sector. He also presents at conference on a range of topics. In the mid-70s, he had a water skiing accident, which left him in a wheelchair. As an author, he has published in leadership, written a play, and is now working on his first novel. Mark primarily sees himself as a teacher, a title he values most. And I, after going through his biography, will coin him as a fighter. Please join me in welcoming Distinguished Toastmaster and our second keynote speaker, Mark Hunter, to the e-podium as he shares his insights on the emotional connect with the audience. Distinguished Toastmaster Mark, the podium is all yours. Mark, you are on mute.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. It's a pleasure to be here. Celebrating 100 meetings, 100 years. I don't know whether I'll quite make that, but I'm looking forward to making my way in that general direction. When speaking on certain subjects, I like to begin with the concept of a beginner's mind, asking the listeners to hear what I have to say with a beginner's mind rather than with the mind of an expert, because when we listen with an expert mind, then we tend to want to judge things and what's said. So I ask you to put your mind, your thinking, your expertise in a box and close the lid for a moment, because you won't necessarily agree with everything I have to say this evening. But in your own time, after I've shared with you, then you can take the box, open it up, take out your expertise, and then make some assessment as to what may be of value for you at this point in time. As Manel said earlier, there are Toastmasters here with a wide range of experiences. So having done that, I'm quite attached to the saying, a fool in advice is soon parted. So I'm not here to give advice. I'm here to share some thinking as a teacher, and the thoughts that I have hopefully will gel, or some of them will, or hopefully some will gel with what you are and who you are in your speaking career. What I want to speak on is the science of building an emotional resonance between you as a speaker and your audience. I have a firm belief that there is a science that underpins public speaking, and when we master that science, then we make it an art form. And while Matt said earlier that when you've got that solid knowledge of what you want to say, then you can play with your audience. I would take that another step and say sometimes when you make your public speaking skill an art form, then you can play in the moment, which is perhaps just another way of saying what Matt said. First of all, the other thing that Matt said is that Toastmasters is about relationships, and so is public speaking or doing speeches, whether they're in your club or outside Toastmasters. You cannot build an emotional connection with your audience if you don't understand them. And when I was invited, I think, to District 52 in Connecticut, I delivered, I think, 10 presentations for that district. But every time I went early enough to ask people, why are they here and what do they have to get? So I had some understanding of who and what they were. That enabled me, I believe, to alter my presentation to make sure it suited the reason why people were sitting in the audience. There are some behaviors, I believe, that get in the way of building this emotional resonance. And whilst you may have seen those speakers that get up, and I made this point in the previous magazine for Toastmasters, they finish speaking and then they turn around and they get their audience and they hold their camera up and they take a selfie with themselves in prime position. This, I believe, gets in the way of a relationship because it's signposting in very bold letters that the speaker is the focus and not the audience. So ego can get in the way. I believe that casual use of language can get in the way of building a relationship with your audience, particularly when it comes to jargon and someone who might be prone to using language that is not accessible by all members of the audience. The other thing about language, and this includes body language, is that we have to understand that there is a strong relationship between the language and the sentence structures we use and the body language and the purpose for which we're speaking. Whilst there is a a general purpose for a speech. For example, what I'm sharing with you is some thinking around it, some information. A speech can be divided up into multiple purposes. Matt mentioned storytelling, and quite often the storytelling is a different purpose. If you're there to inspire people, your storytelling might be there to support the message or to entertain and to bring about some active emotional response. We won't go into how careful you need to be about what we share in Toastmasters and how we share the deep stuff, the hard stuff of lives. In my World Championship speech, I dismissed the wheelchair in a simple sentence by saying, you know, I was a 6-foot view of the world to becoming a competent or a consummate navel gazer. And that was it. That was it. I didn't want to dwell on it. At least it explained for the audience what I was. So in this emotional relationship between you and the audience, I want to talk about the 5 purposes, general purposes for speaking, and there are a lot more than just the 5. But let's look at inform, persuade, motivate, entertain, and inspire. I think the capacity for someone to create an emotional connection with the audience when you're speaking to inform is limited. It's not huge. You're just there to give information. So that's easy. I think persuade also is not high. The demands on you as a speaker to be emotionally connected with your audience is not necessarily high when you're speaking in a persuasive manner. Your job is just to convince them by perhaps fair means or foul. Motivating speakers, I think they tend to speak with self as a focus. And the best example I have of that is, and here I get into storytelling to support it, is I was once at a conference, a convention, and the motivational speaker got up and said to the whole audience that he wanted the audience to stand up and reach for the sky or reach for their dreams and make a difference in the world. And I'm sitting there at the back of the audience, and 5 times that guy told me to stand up. And I'm sitting there thinking, you're not that good. You know? So it was a perfect example of motivational speakers being more about themselves rather than demanding an emotional connection with their audience. Entertaining, if you're going to speak with the primary purpose of entertaining, you want to get an emotional connection with all the emotions and that we are capable of as audience members. Then the speaker wants to achieve that, whether it's to make them laugh, make them feel sad even. That can also be a purpose of an entertaining speech. So I think entertaining requires of the speaker a commitment to develop this emotional resonance. The one that's most demanding, I think, is the purpose to inspire. If you really want your audience to gain something from what you are saying and to inspire them to do so, then you absolutely need to understand your audience and have this emotional connection. It's quite demanding, and even interesting. I went to the States to compete in what was the inter-district contest and the finals, and 3 times I came second, and the other 3 times in that contest I won and got into the finals. But what I learned was that the first 3 times or 2 times I went to America was my primary purpose was to beat the North Americans, because the World Championships was made up of 8 or 9 North Americans and 1 non-North American from the rest of the world. That didn't work for me. And how I approached the last 4 attempts was the last thing I'd say to myself before going on stage is, I want to make a difference in one person's life. One would be enough. But my whole purpose was to inspire people not to do something and get out and be greater than blah, 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 but to inspire them just to think about a message that I found valuable. Okay, so that's my understanding, and you may not agree with it, and then that's fine. And that's why, when you take your expertise out of the box, you can make some judgment about, oh, Hunter was okay, or Hunter was right off track, or whatever. It doesn't matter, as long as you're thinking about what's being shared. So how do we, what scientific processes can we use to approach the development of this capacity for emotional resonance? Number them: observation. Be consciously competent in your capacity to analyze speakers that make you feel here and here. Because don't forget, speakers have got to work both the intellect and the heart. So observing those speakers that do it well and analyzing those observations will help you, I believe, develop a skill. Precision and technique. We heard Matt talk about the precision with which he took on the second tilt at the windmill of being the international president. You need to be, I believe, if you want to master it, then you need to approach the process of building this relationship with precision and technique. And how that looked for me, I know that my World Championship speech in 2009, I worked on for 5 years. 5 years, not constantly, because I was principal of the school, but off and on during various contest cycles. 5 years it took. Ethical considerations. I think if we take a scientific approach to analyzing the ethical considerations that sit before us, then we might be a lot more careful about what we might say that will disconnect us from the audience. So the second last one is researching the skills. And I have a handout on Virginia Satir's work. And she was a writer, a very early writer in the NLP process, and she has some modes that talk about creating an unconscious response at a dramatic level. So researching what you can do. And Manel, I can, if you send me a request, I can flick that to you and you can share it with the people here. And then experiment and feedback. Lord knows, it's the one thing I believe that sets Toastmasters apart from every other learning organization that exists. We are consistently committed to providing feedback, which is about lifting someone else, as Matt said. And you experiment. So get feedback, and experiment with your capacity. The one thing I believe that enhances your capacity to the greatest degree is being authentic. And Matt brought that issue up. Authenticity is important. If I was ever acting in a way that wasn't authentic to myself, then I would not be doing what I need to do as a speaker. And if I come across topics that people want me to speak on, with which I have issues with, let's say on a values base, then I might decline the offer. So you can approach the art of creating an emotional resonance through a scientific approach. Then it can impact those things that we do as speakers, like our posture. Now, Of course, my posture, I'm not going to model for you how I could stand, but let me tell you, in the World Championship speech, I consciously took up the pose of Rodin's The Thinker at a moment, so we can use our posture very effectively to ensure that we are connecting. Body language. Often we are told that when there is conflict between the body language and what they're saying, an audience will go with the body language. And there's a lot of material at the bottom, some material at the bottom of that page on Satir modes. It's number one. If you want to connect with your audience physically, then your body language and how you operate and how you move is important. Vocal inflection. That's the inflection of your voice and how you play with your voice. That will also help you connect. Understanding the importance of tone. Now, with men, the range of tone is deeper, but it still is a skill that a woman can possess with a less tonal range. But a change in tone can make a world of difference when you are sharing something of depth with an audience. That also models the use of silence. I am passionate about the concept that a speech is a piece of music. And so over the year I was preparing, each year I was preparing to go to America to compete. I saw my speech, my 635 individually chosen words, as contributing to the piece of music that was the speech that included both sound and silence, pitch of the voice, and pace is also, pace is while we'll recognize when someone is speaking faster, subconsciously it can work in building that relationship, because you can take your audience on the urgency that might be in part of your speech. So Matt talked also about storytelling and how important it is. I believe the shortest distance between who you are and the truth are the stories that you tell. The shortest distance between who you are and the truth are the stories that you tell. Because when you tell your stories, you share something authentic about you. And if I go through all the speeches that I've delivered in Toastmasters competitions, they all have a story, and there's an art in using stories, and I'm not going to go into that. There's another whole workshop. But let me tell you a story that tells you a little bit about me. I was principal of a school back in the 80s. And at the beginning of the year, this young girl was enrolled by her mother to the school. She was in her 5th year of schooling. And at the end of that year, we had a Christmas celebration. Back in the 80s, we were able to have Christmas celebrations, and we would sing carols and we'd celebrate the story of Christmas. And this man came up to me and he said to me, Mr. Hunter, I want to tell you that for a year, my daughter's been coming home and telling me about who you are as a principal and what you do and how excited you are and your passion for education. But I have to tell you, Mr. Hunter, that never did she mention that you were in a wheelchair. So what that child did was she accepted me for who I was in my head and my heart. You know, I've come across acts of discrimination in multiple scenarios. But if I'm sharing a message with someone, I'll use that story to understand how I want to be treated. and that authentically I am a human being with a head and a heart and a love for the organization to which we belong, and passionate about being a teacher and serving. But the wheelchair is just a way of getting around. Another story that might tell you a bit about the passion was, I had a child at one of my schools that was really naughty, and he spent a lot of time in my office, and he was there again, and I said to him, Sean, this has got to stop. And I reached for the phone to phone his mother, because I used to phone his mother a lot. And he said, Mr. Hunter, please don't phone my mother. And I reached for the phone to phone his mother. Sean leapt out of my office window and ran down the pathway away from the admin building. And I wheeled out of the office and I said, Sean, stop. And he turned around, and he was only 7 years old, and he pointed at me and he said, Hunter, you're the wheelie man from hell. The message about that is my passion for having an impact. So in summary, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that we need to work on building our conscious or competence in being a speaker that can create an emotional resonance between ourselves and our audience. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Mark. At this time, we need to open up the floor for questions. We're going to go for 5 to 7 minutes in the interest of time. So if anyone has any questions, please put them in the chat, and I'll be glad to ask Mark for you.
I can fill in with a little bit of time if you want, Prince.
Well, actually, I've got a question for you. Can you tell me how emotional maturity can help develop the emotional resonance that you spoke of, as well as develop and foster emotional connections with the audience?
Emotional maturity or emotional intelligence is the capacity to understand yourself and behave in a way. I think if you don't know yourself at emotional level, then you're going to have difficulty both leading in our organization and speaking to any audience. So the relationship is a high positive correlation between the two.
And in your speech, you mentioned that authenticity. To use a little vernacular from the streets, if you will, there's a phrase called real recognizes real, which means you can spot a person that's being authentic just by how they speak or how they carry themselves. Can you tell me how effective that's been in Toastmasters?
I think in the process that this is, you're talking about pubs, Prince, and things. I think in the process of giving feedback, we have to make sure that we don't fall foul of the feedback process by saying things in a generic way. Oh, you know, it would be good if you were, you put your hands down, you didn't over gesticulate or something, and be generic in that. That doesn't help the speaker become self-aware and reflect on that feedback to such an extent that it can make a difference. So feedback is an art form. I love the fact that our organization does it. We still have to do it well. Otherwise, we will not be able to share in the growth of someone who's speaking in a plastic, official way to get them to move on. I mean, I remember someone saying to me when I first joined first time or second, I went into a speech contest, and they said, Mike, you sound like a pastor or a minister on them. You know, and that was really good feedback. the way I was speaking was not authentic. So feedback will do it.
And that is a very interesting thing as well. When you say feedback, and then we bring in the subject of emotional maturity, let's just be realistic. A lot of times you deal with people who you're giving feedback to getting caught up in their own feelings or their own perceptions and not listening to feedback. Do you have any advice to counter
relationships? The thing about that same concept of match, you know, in a club working well, the relationship that exists between all the members is going to be able to create an environment and capacity for feedback that doesn't always sure, but it maximizes the chance of feedback being received in the spirit. When it's not done, then the club has to follow up. You know, if someone perceived as not receiving feedback and it's creating an emotional barrier, then the mentor or the president or someone who knows that person very well. Otherwise, they'll. And it takes one of those episodes before the member leaves.
Thank you very much, Mark. And one final question, and this is from the chat. When there's someone that has having an emotional disturbance during an event, how far will that emotional resonance or emotional maturity help to basically assuage that person?
It may not. There are a couple of things about the people who share deep and meaningful instances. And you might remember that in the World Championships, I think we had instances of stillborn babies as part of the content. The speaker used, I'm not sure what that noise is. You hear it?
Yes.
If a speaker uses an emotional event as a personal catharsis, as a way of them processing their own emotions around it, it's not going to work. It's not going to work with an audience. I think very early on that if you've got something very serious to share with them, like a death, you can only just must and mention it, but lift your. You take your audience down, run the risk of losing them. So emotional intelligence should inform you that you need to be very careful about what you share with audiences and to what purpose.
Okay, thank you very much, Mark. Your speech has been very excellent, and it definitely showcased how emotional resonance and emotional maturity can make one an effective speaker by connecting with their audience. And now let's bring up Toastmaster Soumita Sengupta.
Thanks, Brent.
We would like to thank our keynote speaker, distinguished Toastmaster Mark Hunter, for his amazing speech, which covered all the essence about the emotional connect with the audience. Now the chat master has already shared in the chat box. If you want to buy Mark's new book on leadership, it is already there, The Voice of the Bonsai, a conversation on leadership, and you can visit his website, www.markhunter.com.au, for further insights and information on distinguished Toastmasters Mark Hunter's spectacular journey of leadership. And I wish you all the best on behalf of Globetrotters Toastmasters Club.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Now, moving forward, in this era of technology, everything is possible. And we have made a drastic change to the way we communicate, but it hasn't changed the mission of the club. The common ground provides a bridge between the generations in Toastmasters Club. Online connection is a strong forte in Toastmasters, where we meet remotely, linked members around the globe. In online meetings, all members connect remotely using software platform that allows everyone to see and hear each other in real time. And we can see that today, we have that experience today, and it is none less than a real-time experience. So yes, we are one family globally. And doing this also provides a means for members to review and critique their own online performance and learn from others, because we have the meeting recordings where we can go through and understand our flaws and rectify them. Now, after 2 keynote speeches, we have something fun segment for all of you. So fasten your seatbelt, because now is the quiz time, where our exceptional quiz master will help us to exercise our motor and sensory skills to churn out the answers. Because Globetrotters is all about travel and love for travel, and we will experience the same today with our quiz master. Without further ado, let me introduce our quiz master, distinguished Toastmaster Ayan. Ayan is an IBM accredited IT consultant, author, speaker, and educator with a passion for volunteering. The senior consultant at IBM with almost 2 decades of experience is a persevering doer and a creative thinker who loves pursuing excellence and guiding individuals and teams to seek their true potential. A 3-time distinguished Toastmasters and a former champion of impromptu speaking, Ayan has played several leadership roles across District 82, 41, and 124. This includes that of Club EC Officers, 56-time, Club Sponsor, Mentor, Coach, 45-time, and District Officer, 9-time. He is currently the member of Globetrotters Toastmasters Club and is serving District 124 as an immediate past District Director. Join me in welcoming distinguished Toastmaster Ayan as the quiz master for the special 100 session today. Distinguished Toastmaster Ayan, the e-podium is all yours.
Thank you so much, Soumita. And I just want to clarify and check if you can all hear me clearly. Thank you so much to distinguished Toastmaster Mark Hunter and all the other people who have spoken so far. We have had a great day indeed. And now, as promised, it's time to travel the world without moving an inch. Through your mind, of course. So I have for you a few questions, and you can take to the chat to try and answer them to the best of your ability. Without much ado, let me start with question number 1, which is going to be more of knowledge than fun. And it's all about inclusivity. In which Asian country, which is a parliamentary democracy, does the president have to be a Maronite Christian, the prime minister a Sunni Muslim, and the speaker of the parliament a Shia Muslim? I repeat, in which Asian country, a parliamentary democracy, does the president have to be a Maronite Christian, the prime minister a Sunni Muslim, and the speaker of parliament a Shia Muslim? Don't Google this. It isn't easy, but you might be able to just guess it. Anyone, any guesses? That sets the tone as to whether or not you're listening. So the question is on your screen, and Matt has raised his hand. Matt, what is the answer?
I think it's Lebanon.
Absolutely right. Can we have a huge round of applause for immediate past international president, Matt Kinsey, distinguished Toastmaster. And it is Lebanon indeed. Wow, that was good. The next one is relatively easy. And I need you to raise your hands or very quickly post it in the chat window. In which city is a famous structure being painted golden? And Matt, you might want to lower your hand now till we are ready. In which city is a famous structure being painted golden to commemorate the Summer Olympics that will be held there in 2024? I repeat, in which city is a famous structure being painted golden to commemorate the Summer Olympics that will be held there in 2024? Does anyone have the answer to this? You may want to raise your hands. Prince says Los Angeles. Karine Baptiste says Paris.
Paris.
Matt has raised his hand. If you can also name the monument. Matt, what's the monument?
It's the Arc de Triomphe in Paris.
Very close. It's the Eiffel Tower in Paris. So we are very close. So the right answer goes to Karine and to Matt as well, but partially. And well done. And I hope some of you might be able to at least catch it on your TV screens, if not in person. But the next question might make you catch your breath. And here it comes. Which city, also a major tourist attraction, hosts the most number of skyscrapers? Arindam Mishra says New York. You can keep guessing. Which city, also a major tourist attraction, hosts the most number of skyscrapers? And the right answer is Hong Kong. And I think Kamal got it first. Can we have a round of applause for Kamal? Everyone is going all over, but no, I think the first person who gave the right answer was Sonal Baid. So congratulations, Sonal. It is Hong Kong. Indeed. And I hope you can go to one of those skyscrapers there and have a wonderful, amazing time. All right. The next one, I'm sure many of you would get it right because we have some people from there as well. Mark my words, you should not miss this. Which country, my dear friends, is home to the most number of beaches in the world? Which country is home to the most number of beaches in the world? Mark has raised his hand and I'm sure he knows the right answer. Mark, you're on mute.
Has to be Australia.
Absolutely, Australia it is, with 10,000 plus beaches.
There we go.
Well done, Mark, and well done to anyone who wants to do that. I think Meenal also almost guessed it, but next one is a little long and it's gonna be exciting. Now, this is, of course, to a question that I hope some of you would know the answer to. The iconic Statue of Liberty. You know where that is, right? The iconic Statue of Liberty, surprise, surprise, was not built in America. Where was it built? Aniruddha Gorai, the iconic Statue of Liberty.
It was built in France and gifted to America.
Of course, that's right. And not only you, but Prince, Matt, Mrinal, Kshitij, and Elias all got it right. So congratulations, Aniruddha. That is right. In fact, it was built by the French sculptor Auguste Bartholdi, and it took 9 years to complete and was shipped via boat from France to New York in 350 individual pieces. Can you believe that? That, I believe, was the original Globetrotter, if I'm not mistaken. To be able to do that, literally traveling the world, but of course, moving a lot of inches as well. Inch by inch by inch. The next one is both easy as well as difficult. Let's see if anyone gets it. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. Which, Toastmasters and guests, is the world's biggest, deepest canyon? Which is the world's biggest, deepest canyon? Elios Theos says Grand Canyon. Prince says Grand Canyon. Pinky says Grand Canyon. Sonal says China's Grand Canyon. Karen says Grand Canyon. The answer is not Grand Canyon. Now, this is where it's no longer grand. Does anyone have an answer?
I know it's in Tibet, but I can't remember the name of it.
Who said that? Matt.
Matt. I know it's in Tibet.
Right. And why am I not surprised? The right answer is Sangpo, which is in Tibet and holds the title as the planet's biggest, deepest canyon. The Grand Canyon of America, of course, is the runner-up. So well done, Matt, as always. You're listening and you're learning and you're reading. And Sonal says the Zangbo River Grand Canyon in China, but of course our right answer is Tibet's Sangpo Canyon. Sonal, you're very close. That's the world's number 3. I said biggest as well as deepest. You have to keep both in mind.
here is the question for those who missed it. And now finally, the final question of this pop quiz on trying to see whether you're going to pop yourselves up to be a Globetrotter. And of course, right now, Matt is winning it hands down as a Globetrotter. And some of you are close. Love the answers Mark has been giving as well. And now, finally, the world's largest and most popular theme park is also the country's biggest single site employer. Where is it located? Absolutely, Matt. That is, you are full of trivia and you're never trivial, which is amazing. All right, the world's largest and most popular theme park is also the country's biggest single site employer. Where is it located? The right answer has been shared by Prince and Theo. The right answer is, of course, Walt Disney. The Walt Disney World Resort, popularly referred to as Disney World, is located in Orlando, Florida. And do you know what? This Disney World is not very far from our international convention when we are going to hold our 100th special gathering, since to celebrate 100 years of Toastmasters. So yeah, that's the other Disneyland, of course. But this is also the United States' biggest single site employer. Any guesses how many people it employs? 10,000. Okay, so that's the right answer, but well done, dear Globetrotters and future Globetrotters and Globetrotters in the making. That is all I have. As they say, better late than late, as I say rather. So those were my 8 questions, and I hope you're all a little bit more globetrotting, at least in our mind, through our answers. Back to the master of ceremonies. Okay, while we wait, let me clarify. Yes, I was talking about the Disneyland in Florida, but we also have a Disneyland which is closer to our international convention. So you might want to plan that in case you are going to go to the international convention. So back to the organizers. And Paramjit Singh has raised his hand. I have no idea why.
I'm at time to keep it on the left side of the screen.
So as you must have realized, I am on time because I'm done. And now back to the organizers. Mrinal, would you like to share something?
So I think I just hand over to next sessions because we are already on delayed by 15 minutes. So hand over to Toastmaster of the day, Prince and Soumita.
Thank you very much. Toastmasters International is a worldwide organization with thousands of clubs in over 140 countries. Regardless of where you are in the world, if you're a Toastmaster, you have a home with this global family. The organization transcends global and geographic boundaries, languages, and cultures. In the global family of Toastmasters, the 4 core values of Toastmasters, respect, integrity, service, and excellence, are the foundation of a healthy club or healthy teams in general. They enable members to work together harmoniously and build strong working relationships. Establishing that feedback loop within the team can lead to continuous improvement. Constructive feedback also helps individuals and the team as a whole grow and develop. And now, let's introduce the next keynote speaker. Toastmaster Soumita, it's your turn.
You will be going ahead now and introduce the speaker and me as well, because I will be moderating the session.
Okay, and Toastmaster Soumita, as the moderator, is an IT telecom professional with 17 years of experience and embodies the very spirit of Globetrotters. She served as club president in the past, and she has journeyed with us through 100 remarkable milestones. She is an immediate area director and is currently serving as a division director in District 3. She's been exceptional at PR activities in both area and division level and has won the Best PR Awards twice from District 41. She's mentored many members and helped charter new clubs in the past. Please welcome your moderator, Soumita Sengupta.
Our last keynote speaker for today is a very special person, and he will be delivering a very special speech. He is none other than distinguished Toastmaster Brahm Memone. His journey in the field of coaching and training dates back to 1993, and what truly distinguishes him is his sincere desire to establish deep emotional connection with people. The year 2020, with all its challenge, showcased distinguished Toastmaster Braham's exceptional coaching skills, earning him the prestigious title of Coach of the Year from District 86 Toastmaster. Brahm has been a dedicated Toastmasters for 27 years and has achieved the prestigious designation of Distinguished Toastmasters 3 times. Let's come together to share in the wisdom, inspiration, and camaraderie that define the essence of Globetrotters and welcome distinguished Toastmaster Brahm Memone with his keynote speech title as Take Charge. Let us welcome Brahm Memone. The podium is all yours.
Take charge. Take charge, ladies and gentlemen. What does it mean? Distinguished Toastmaster Matt Kinsey, Distinguished Toastmaster Mark Hunter, Toastmasters and guests. Taking charge, I find, is one of the most difficult things that we do in life. I've been coaching for 30 years, have a working life of over 50 years across 3 different continents. And I think this is one of the most difficult things that anybody undertakes, is taking charge of their life, leading their life on their own terms. Now, what do I mean by taking charge? Taking charge is all about autonomy. To be able to lead your life on your own terms, to determine what you're doing, when you're doing, how you will be doing it, and all that ends up in your calendar. Complete autonomy over your life. No external conditioning. How many of you live your life that way? Not possible, right? In fact, most of us live in a reactive life. And when you have total autonomy, guess what? You are able to have creative expression, express yourself authentically, which you heard quite a bit here today, especially with Mark Hunter. And when you begin to express yourself creatively, you increase your competency to the mastery level. Of course, mastery is an unending goal, and you keep going on and on until you reach mastery. So that is what taking charge really means. This is, of course, from the self-determination theory, the new branch of psychology. For those of you who are in India, you know moksha or liberation. It is the unending sort of karmic life and birth and liberation from it. Well, autonomy is right here now in this life, how to be totally, completely autonomous, liberation. Now, George Bernard Shaw, and I really found this quote amazing. This gentleman lived over 100 years ago, a playwright. And he said once, liberty means responsibility. And that is why most men dread it. Well, people, right? Most people dread it. And I find that in my experience over 30 years of coaching, liberty is, of course, freedom or autonomy. Taking charge of your life is very, very difficult because we are asked to take responsibility and accountability, and we are afraid to do that because of the conditioning, the external conditioning that we have. Harriet Rubin said it more succinctly, and what she said is this simply: freedom is actually the bigger game than power. Power is all about what you control, but freedom or autonomy, taking total charge of your life, is about what you can unleash. It's about unleashing your self-expression and who you are as a human being and becoming totally authentic. Harriet Rubin, a great writer. You can find her on Amazon.com. So what are the barriers to taking charge of your life? No, me and Matt Kinsey didn't coordinate this particular speech. I know he talked about barriers. I'm going to talk about barriers, and they're very similar, actually. We are afraid to be accountable. We are afraid to be responsible because we associate being accountable and responsible with, if I take accountability and I'm responsible for something, people will blame me for taking accountability. And so we are very afraid. There's this innate fear of being accountable. And it was ingrained when you were growing up as a child. You know, when you did something wrong and people told you, you are accountable and you are to blame for it, and why didn't you do it? And so now we are afraid when you grow up. And of course, unfortunately, in the current socioeconomic construct that we live in, and it's a construct, we live in reactive roles more than in proactive or active roles. And these are the barriers to taking charge of our lives, and therefore it affects how we are in Toastmasters or outside of Toastmasters. And then therefore, sometimes engagement suffers. One of my friends, Lance Secreton, who is one of the top coaches for C-suite executives in Fortune 100 companies, and an author of 24 books and a leadership guru, he says that 80% of the employees are not really engaged, and they would leave work and go somewhere else if they could. They're only tied because of economic reasons. Reactive roles, no engagement, barriers to taking really fully charge and being authentic. So here's a question for you all. And the question is, why are you in Toastmasters? And I'm going to tie in taking charge and why you're in Toastmasters in a second. But why are you in Toastmasters? You could put that in the chat if you wish. Why are you in Toastmasters? I believe you're in Toastmasters here to learn how to communicate and lead effectively. And if you were in my Toastmasters Club, which is an advanced Toastmasters Club, I would say communicate and lead with confidence, conviction, and credibility, and have the ability to think critically. That is why we are in Toastmasters. Communication and leadership, one of the best program in communication leadership is Toastmasters. And that's why we are in Toastmasters. Therefore, what type of organization is Toastmasters? Thank you for what's going on in the chat. Thank you. Of course, Toastmasters is an educational organization, and we are all students of communication and leadership. It doesn't matter how many years you've been in Toastmasters. I have been in Toastmasters for 27 years, and I'm still a student of communication and leadership every day. Now, if you are a student in this organization, it's an educational organization, guess what? I think it's equivalent to being in a university, isn't it? Because the things that we learn here, the soft skills that we learn here are much more in demand than what you might learn in an MBA program. That's what Elon Musk says. That's what big companies like Google and Apple and those people are saying now. You don't need an MBA as much as you need skills that we learn here in Toastmasters. Those sort of skills. So now you paid your tuition fee in Toastmasters. I call it tuition fee just for this particular presentation. We call it membership fee and we call it club, but let's call it tuition fee, and let's see what this tuition fee is. It is only $60. If you were to go in a university in Canada, If you were a citizen, you would pay about $6,000, $10,000 for a semester or for the year, depending on the course you're taking. If you're a non-citizen and you came to study here, you pay anything from $18,000 to $30,000 and even more. You paid your tuition fee. You are supposed to attend classes. You're supposed to be in study groups. You're supposed to have the assignments that the professor gives you. You make sure that you do those assignments, and then the final grading is the final exam. And all these different aspects, when you go into a university, you pay that much money. You better do those assignments, otherwise you'll be downgraded. For $60, who is going to downgrade you? Nobody does. And so we tend to diminish our value in Toastmasters, yet it is the best communication leadership program in Toastmasters. So when you pay your tuition fee in Toastmasters, you really need to take charge. You really need to take charge of your program. This is a self-directed program. You can attend a meeting, first 2 or 3 meetings, and you won't come for 6 months and attend another meeting. Nobody's going to downgrade you. You do one speech and then do the next speech 5 months later. Nobody's going to downgrade you. You'll still get an effective feedback. As Mark Hunter said, this is an amazing organization where that feedback is constant. And so you have to take charge, because now there's no authority over you to tell you what to do, whether you'll be downgraded if you don't come to the class, you'll be downgraded if you're not in that study group, you're downgraded when you're not doing your assignments, you're downgraded, and you won't get any grades if you don't do the final exam. It doesn't happen in Toastmasters, right? And so you are forced by authority to take charge and do something. When you remove that authority, suddenly, you feel at a loss. And that's why we have what? We have mentors. Taking charge is so important in Toastmasters, so that we don't have this attrition rate and we have high retention rate, is when we have a good program to help members be engaged in the club. And they feel that they're taking charge of their education. Take charge. And one of the ways to taking charge is what? Matt, you said it before I did today. Why? Have a why. Why are you in this Toastmasters club? What is your vision? When you answer the question why, what you're doing is you're answering the existential question. Why do I exist in this club? Or why do I exist in my life? Or why do I exist in this organization? The organization that you work with, where you get your economic benefits. In English, we call it reason for being. Why am I being in here? In Japanese, one simple word, ikigai, means a lot. And in French, raison d'être is the existential question. Why am I here? You need to answer that when you join a Toastmasters club. So when this meeting began, we all heard the club mission being read from Toastmasters International. The community is your club, right? Globetrotters is the community of amazing Toastmasters from across the world as members. Now, this is the community that you've joined. It has a mission, which we heard at the beginning of the meeting. And here you come along, right? There you are, and you join the club. You're already a member now. Here's the magic zone, right? There's a mission here. Maybe there's even a vision statement, and here you come along. This magic zone only happens if you have a why, a purpose. So what is your vision going to be? Why am I in Toastmasters? Did you define that? Have you defined it? And you ought to define it as to, today my skills are over here. In a year's time, or in 3 months' time, or in 6 months' time, this is what my skills ought to be. This is where I see and visualize myself in. Right? Vision gives you that ability. So there you are. And here's the thing about vision and taking charge when you have a vision, is that I think we should all become legendary learners in Toastmasters. You can only do that when you take really charge of your journey in Toastmasters. Become a legendary learner. And I'll tell you why and how. But when you become a learner like that, it means you are learning new skills. You're unlearning skills that don't help you. Like when you stand in front of people for the first time, or even in your 10th speech or whatever, what's going on in the background is, will I be embarrassed today? You know, who is going to validate and like me? Who's going to reject me? It's in the subconscious mind, the conditioning. And you have to unlearn all that stuff, right? That's what we do at Toastmasters. And we relearn new things, or I mean, things that we already knew at a different level. For example, our values are integrity, respect, service, and excellence. Integrity. What does it really mean when you're in Toastmasters? What is respect when you're in Toastmasters? And so on. And that gives rise to progress. That is what a vision is. And so when you have a vision, why you are here in this community that has a mission to provide a safe learning space for you to be able to communicate and lead effectively, that's the zone of magic. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is taking charge. So when you have defined why I'm in Toastmasters, what is my journey going to be, and where am I going to end up in a year's time or in 3 months' time, that's what helps you by taking charge. The other thing is overcoming external conditioning. And how do you overcome external conditioning? What are those conditions? Lack of clarity. When you don't have a vision, there's lack of clarity. There's all this external conditioning, and you're being told what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. And so there's lack of clarity in effectively seeing why you are here and what you will get at the end. And that is because also we have poor time management skills, some of us. When you have poor time management skills, and it leads to lack of clarity. This is like a loop, right? And then the inconsistent commitment, right? You don't want to speak today and then speak 3 months down the road, and then 6 months down the road. You want to speak every 3, 4, 5 weeks, depending on how large your club is and how often they meet, right? And how do you do that is you set aside time to reflect, to plan, to prepare, and to practice. And you know what Kinsey said about reflection, right? It has to be your own time away from everybody else. So tell your family, your kids, or whoever is around you, I need time to plan, to prepare, to practice, to reflect, because I paid a tuition fee, membership fee, and I'm studying to be a good communicator and leader and a great leader. And so please help me by letting me and allowing me to do this. And use your calendar wisely. And when you do that, guess what? Of a friend, take charge. You begin to take charge, and you get rid of all that stuff by doing simple things like this. What is the next thing about overcoming external conditioning is when there's lack of accountability and you're afraid to take accountability, or you have no idea how to take accountability and responsibility. Toastmasters is a great place to get a mentor. And when you get a mentor, guess what? You form a relationship. This is a relationship organization. Thank you, Matt, for laying the road and the path for me, making it much easier. And when you do that, our friend, take charge. You begin to start taking charge. When you start taking charge with a mentor and they help you along the road and along the path, doesn't matter how long you've been in Toastmasters, you get rid of this stuff. And lastly, ladies and gentlemen, is some of us have self-doubts. The imposter syndrome, you know, you prepare your speech well and you practice this and you stand in front of the audience and suddenly your heart goes boom, boom, and you forget the words. And so who the heck am I to stand up in front of this audience and speak? about this particular thing, and you begin to shrink, right? The self-doubt and the imposter syndrome come up from time to time. We are Toastmasters. We know it does. It has happened to me. I am sure it happens to you. And that fear of taking charge, sort of envelops you, and you are lost. And how do you overcome that? It's really an internal psychological space that you have to create, a space where you have the courage to stand up despite all these things happening, despite the self-doubt. The imposter syndrome is to take the courage to stand up. You can shake in your shoes, you shake in your knees, and Toastmasters will lift you up. You have to take the courage. You have to have bravery and be vulnerable enough to stand in front of these people and start shaking. It's okay, because we'll lift you up, right? And that's what we do at Toastmasters. And that's such an amazing organization. And that, our friend, is taking charge, creating that internal environment of, I'll do it, no matter what. I'll be determined, I'm dedicated, I'm disciplined, I'll take charge. And when you do that, ladies and gentlemen, you get rid of that stuff as well. And so, ladies and gentlemen, do take charge to be effective at Toastmasters. Get a purpose, write down what your purpose is. Where will you be today? Where will you be in a year's time? That is your purpose, the vision. Why you're in Toastmasters? Answer that question. Manage yourself around time and have the courage to stand up no matter what's going on in your environment and speak. And when you do that, you begin to have autonomy, the freedom to stand up and take charge of your life, be creatively expressed, and have that building that competence and mastery level. It is taking charge, ladies and gentlemen. That's why you're in Toastmasters. Begin taking charge, and you will see your journey to be amazing and incredible. Thank you. Madam Toastmaster.
Toastmaster Brahm Memone for that wonderful keynote speech, and I will be moderating the session. And for the respect of time, we will be having 5 to 6 minutes with the question. So, my dear people, you can put your question in the chat box so that we can go ahead. And I have the first question for TDM Brahm. The first question is how to overcome the barriers while taking charge as a new member in Toastmasters.
We've all experienced that. When we joined Toastmasters, somebody told us, that club is going to teach you how to stand up and speak effectively. You send some world champion of public speaking or some motivational speaker on YouTube. And say, all right, I'm going to be doing that. And you come up and you say, introduce yourself as a guest, and you started to shake. But you become a member, and then what happens is the club, the VP of Education, has to have a chairperson, or sometimes in some of the clubs I belong to, we have had a VP of Mentorship. Immediately, somebody has to go take you to the orientation, VP of Membership, VP of Education, and the mentor chair should take you through an orientation and assign you a mentor, or allow you to attend the club a couple of times and choose your own mentor. Mentorship is the basics of enabling us to take the courage to be able to say, this is what I want to do, and here's the mentor who's going to sit next to me and help me. Now, I've been to clubs where, of course, the mentor-mentee relationship hasn't been that great, and so we've insisted that the mentor sit next to the mentee when they're brand new, and sort of make sure that they feel comfortable and brave enough to stand up and do the grammarian role, the quizmaster role, right? That's the first things you give them, just give the small little roles before you throw them into and say, here, do your icebreaker next within 5 to 6 weeks. Make sure that they immediately engaged anyways, and all those things. So all those things help to build that courage to stand up and begin to speak and to take charge. Over to you.
Oh, that's wonderful. So in Toastmasters parlance, what we understand, assigning a mentor to new member is vital. And now moving forward, we have one question from Elios. Are there any common myths or misconceptions about overcoming externalized conditioning that you'd like to address?
Say that again.
Are there any common myth or misconception about overcoming externalized conditioning that you would like to address?
The myth is, we think there's no external conditioning, but there is the socioeconomic construct that we live in conditions us to be reactive in nature. And we don't know that because we are not aware. There's no self-awareness. But if you read, and more books are being written, especially the book that came out last year, The Myth of Normal by Gabor Maté. And it's an incredible book about how the society is structured that increases our stress level and our anxiety. And I don't know about your part of the world, but in North America, more and more teenagers are depressed and they're very anxious, and the suicidal rate is increasing among the younger people. And so, we don't know that because we are in that construct, right? And so when we come to Toastmasters and, we are in this reactive mode, we are reacting because, who are these people? What am I going to do? Am I going to stand up and speak? And so that's when it comes to light that, oh my goodness, that conditioning, is something that I need to overcome. And it's all about, therefore, self-awareness. Begin that self-awareness journey. And Toastmasters is such a great place to begin to be more self-aware about yourself and what's really going on within you, right? And therefore, all these misconceptions about, oh, I'm great and I know how to take charge of my life and so on, comes to light. And it's okay. You have to be vulnerable and say, okay, yeah, sure. Now I know at what level I need to be at. There are people who say, right, I'm a speaker. I speak all the time. I don't need to join Toastmasters. But, in Toastmasters, you've done so many different things. Gestures, eye contact, vocal variety, how to construct a speech. And when they come into Toastmasters, they may already be speakers. They are teachers and psychologists and so on. They join Toastmasters, they learn what? So there's a lot of misconception that I already know. No, you don't know anything until you come to Toastmasters and take the program.
DTM Prince have one question. One of my biggest challenges is the physical presence I have. Many people have a reaction to my physical size and are instantly intimidated by that. How do you mitigate that?
When you are really authentic and you're really speaking to the audience through that camera, because nowadays we are online. So when you're speaking to the camera and you're really being authentic and you are not self-aware of whatever size you are, whatever colored skin tone, whatever it is, whatever you're wearing, doesn't matter. And then you begin to learn how to speak authentically. People will forget all those things and they will hear you. They will get you. They will not get anything else but you, not the inner person that you are. That's what they will get. So that's the trick, being authentic. That the journey is to be authentic. It's a forever journey, by the way.
Thank you. And we will take the last question right now due to the time factor. So this question is from Elios. How can individuals maintain their sense of self and authenticity while challenging external influences?
Self-reflection. Self-reflection. And, I think in Pathways, there's actually a project about assessing your, emotions through the week and writing down, and making a log of your emotions and doing a speech. I think it is in level 4 or 3. No, level 4, I believe. That's a project. It's all about self-awareness. And so it is spending time and reflecting. When you get an evaluation, you need to reflect. You need to spend time, sitting by yourself, being by yourself, and say, what is it about this evaluation? What really rings true to me? And what can I do to take this evaluation and make it mine and change things that I need to change and discard things that don't work for me? Because it is an evaluator's point of view, right? And so you need to do that, is to be able to take time for yourself. It is so important in the journey.
Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Brahm, and I thank all the keynote speakers for their wonderful insights they have shared from their journey in Toastmasters, from their journey in life. And that is really an eye-opener for many of us who are into this Toastmaster, and we will keep continue doing our good work. Thank you so much. And for any further question, do keep us posted, and GTC will get back to you with all the replies. And now moving forward, we are done with all the keynote speeches and quizzes. And can we have a big round of applause for all these wonderful role players today who had done a wonderful job? Let's breathe in, breathe out, and do a good clapping for every one of us here. Thank you so much. Now, this section of the meeting is very, very special. Very, very special, I say, because this section will be performed by the core members of GTC, the people behind the scene, people for whom we are here, people who are working silently. Yes, GTC is an amazing club, and the members have one common love. That is, they all love traveling. Hence, this name of the club was coined as Globetrotters. And these people have some amazing skill set. They are good communicators, they are avid learners, and today they have decided to present us a drama. Yes, and we will witness that drama in some time. And this drama is all about a person, a fun drama rather, which shows how a rookie get a job in a corporate, and then this life, office gossip, etc., happens. Now, the writer of the drama is Toastmaster Kongo Goswami, director is Toastmaster Rajoshi Roy, Techmaster is Toastmaster Arnaz, and the narrator is Toastmaster Meena. Without further ado, I would request the Zoom master to highlight the people who will be performing the drama. So join me to witness some fun moments of GTC as their members take us to this spectacular drama coined as Selling Dreams. Selling Dreams.
Scene 1. The hiring. Scene opens with a sales executive of a startup company named India Delight. He's sitting in a corporate office room and interviewing candidates.
Hello. Hi, Karam. How are you?
I'm fine, sir. How are you?
I'm fine. So, Karam, tell me about yourself.
So, myself, Karam Das. I'm from a farmer's family, having 20 years of sales experience.
Are you mad? Are you crazy? You are having 20 years of experience. You are just 22 years of age.
That is correct, sir. So what happened was, my mother used to sell coconuts just beside this office next to this building. I used to deliver the coconuts and collect revenues to earn the commission to buy ice sticks.
But you know, Karam, that's the way we don't do business in our company, India Delight. I'm the sales director of India Delight since last 10 years. We never do that. Our purpose is to sell the fresh coconut door-to-door steps.
I know that, sir. I know that very well. In fact, I know all the players in the coconut business. Unfortunately, I had to learn it the very hard way, actually.
So what happened to your family? Who is taking care of your business?
So what happened was, our business has to be shut. The coconut prices are touching 60 to 80 rupees a piece. It is too high for our investment. And there is absolutely no margin left for us to survive whatsoever.
Oh, it's okay. But tell me, why you want to join with us?
Sir, I believe that your business has overtaken the city. And everyone is enjoying fresh coconuts right from their work desk. So I decided instead of competing with you, wouldn't it be better if I can join you and help with your own business?
But I think I'm totally quite impressed about your analysis and understanding of your business. You have very good knowledge on the business part. But tell me, why should I select you?
Sir, sales is in my blood. Didn't you see how I sold myself about taking business decisions even without an MBA degree?
That's great. I'm quite impressed about you. If you got selected, our HR team will connect with you and get back to you. By the way, all the best to you. Have a great day.
Thank you, sir. Have a nice day.
Same here.
Scene 2. The appointment. Let me take you to Karam's house, where he lives with his mother, Kasturba, and sister, Ella. He belongs to a lower middle class family. One day, his mother was offering prayer with his sister, and Karam was browsing the phone.
Jai Ganesh, Jai Ganesh, Jai Ganesh Deva, Mata Saki Parvati Pita Mahadeva. Om Shanti, Om Shanti. Oh God, please help this poor family. You know our business is not going well. Karam's job will help us a lot. Please save us. Please save. Oh my God.
Ma, how God is Mr. Vikram now? But don't worry. I have full faith in Bhaiya's sales skills.
Kela, I know your brother better than you do. I know he can even sell rotten coconut.
Yes, exactly. He claimed you are selling Arab. You know, that coconut bose. But the customer spat it out immediately. Said he is a fraud. He said, oh, it's a pre-made pig. Add some coconut water. It will taste perfect. And then he poured some coke into the coconut shell and handed it over to the customer. You know.
Sometimes I'm afraid that his quick wit will cost him. He might do some unethical things.
Yes, absolutely, ma'am. Mom, be sure of it. He is not a saint. I'm telling you, he has all the bad habits and he has also some sin. Whatever you can't even imagine.
Say, are you aware that your voice is reaching my ears? Have you no shame in talking aloud about me, even when I'm in the same room?
Ray, that is exactly why we are telling it aloud. At least you will listen to me in that way, I believe.
Oh my God, Ma, I got the job. I got the job.
Scene 3. The small talk. Even though Karam adopted well into the corporate culture, he was not so well accepted in the company and often became the gossip item for the day. Unlike other colleagues, all people called him by his name and surname, Karam Das, including the office gossip girls, Saki and Mithali.
Hey, Mitali, have you seen Karam, Mr. Karam Das? I caught him staring to the tattoo on my shoulder. He was looking like this. When I looked at him, he just ran away.
That's the magic of you, Saki, the mammal magnet. And your tattoo suits you so well. Who could resist the poison? Since you ink this, even Uncle Dasra Das sometimes takes a glimpse of it.
Feeling jealous of it, isn't it? So why don't you get one for yourself then?
I don't like this kind of tattoos. But
one thing I really want to know from you. Have you heard Karamda's accent? He has such a weird accent. And you know, he belongs from very poor family. God knows how he could survive in this corporate culture.
Well, he's a young and okay looking guy.
Oh, really? Once he gave a bit attention to you and he became the handsome guy. Oh, really? But the day before it, he was the Dehati guy. Very strange.
Whatever. Let's go for a break, Mitali.
Okay, let's go.
These gossips were all over the office and at all breaks. Karam Das used to have a glimpse at the giggling girls while having a coffee break. Moreover, he enjoys the coffee break as he could never believe that the Lakshman Charter's expensive Nescafe dispenser coffee machine is accessible for free. Scene 4. The meeting. Despite all odds, Karam was able to make two friends, Dixon and Hariharan. His friends somehow managed to know his pet name. Karam was called Tom Bhai, loosely translating to brother in his neighborhood. He was named Tom after the famous actor Tom Cruise for his impeccable courage and bravery. The triad made the Tom, Dick, and Harry of the office. All the three lads were appointed to look after the business expansion under the sales division. I almost forgot to mention that among the triad, Dickinson was nearly blind. Harry was deaf in 1 ear, but they were from a wealthy family. They had been called upon by their boss, Ballav, for a meeting. The trio entered the meeting room.
May we come in, sir?
Hey, why did you ask permission on their behalf? Can't they speak? Hey, Dixon, can't you ask permission to enter?
Tom, who is speaking to me like that? Are you talking to me, Dick?
Guys, shut up. Boss is very angry. Now smile and enter the room.
Hello, stop smiling and just settle down. See, we have something serious to discuss right now. Actually, I have been told by the management to increase sales by 30 to 40% in this quarter. And I wanted to discuss with you all the possible schemes that can take us to that target.
So, sir, do you want our number of actual sales to increase or the profit to increase by 30 to 40%?
Whatever it takes, we will deliver as required. Well, I was told by Bikram that Karam has a knack for sales. So, Karam, what do you suggest?
So, sir, I believe that we can employ more salesperson so that the probability of sales becomes high.
No, we can't afford that. There is a budget constraint. Let's follow up on our leads instead. See, I learned a case study in MBA. How to get a stuck cart out of mud quickly and cheaply. So the obvious solution was engaging more horses, but that was expensive. But the smart solution was 3 wheels. So the driver could spank the horse more and get it out faster.
Bravo. I volunteered to take up the cart puller role. I always wanted to do so. When I was in the carpool in my school days, just imagine a cart with full of ladies with 3 whips to spank the horses.
Oh, shut up, Hari. This is just a metaphor. It suggests that we need to follow up more with our potential sales inquiries. Anyways, Dixon, what is your view?
Sir, my vision is already very poor. I'm nearly blind, and you know that.
Oh God, I have a bunch of idiots running in my office. I meant that what is your strategy to increase our sales?
Oh, on that, I think we can give some promotional discounts on our products. That should help with the sales. but we'll have to spend a little more on advertising and branding for that.
Well, that sounds doable, but let's not rush to decide. See, we need profit to get paid. So let's think more and refine our ideas. We will discuss this tomorrow morning, okay?
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Sure, sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
The trio stood up and left the meeting room towards the coffee machine. Ballav started to going through the next item on his agenda, and the gossip girls went into the room giggling past Karan. Scene 5. The executive. Karan has been working hard and learning a lot since he joined the company. He is like a caterpillar who eats up all the information and skills he can find. He observes others and takes courses to improve himself. One day, his friends and colleagues encouraged him to talk to Saki, his crush, during a coffee break.
Hi, Saki. So how are you doing?
Hi, Karam. I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm good as well. Say, Saki, you studied in an English medium school, na?
Yes, Karam, I did.
I was wondering why your English is so good. So that's why. So listen, na. Would you be able to recommend some books to me which can help me improve my English?
Well, Karam, I think it comes through practice. In my opinion, if you practice through thinking and speaking in English, your communication will improve gradually.
Oh, that is easy for you to say. But in my neighborhood, no one speaks English. How can I speak with them? People think of me as an alien.
Karam, don't think like that. For that, you can join Toastmasters International Club. But you can practice not only your communication skills, but you will be also able to hone your leadership skills as well. They have a really supportive group, and the best part is that you can select your personal mentors to guide you in the right path. So just log on to www.toastmasters.org and you will get all the relevant information required.
Oh, Saki, you're the nicest person I've ever met. How can I ever thank you? So say, would you be willing to go for a cup of coffee after this meeting?
Karam, you can see that I'm already having my cup of coffee right now. So can I let you know later if I'm interested for having with you?
Okay. Bye, Saki.
Bye, Karam.
Saki left the conversation blushing and moving closer to her giggling friends. On the other hand, Karan was already having some leadership qualities and is able to guide some of his colleagues to convert the inquiries into sales. He even shares some of his tricks of the trade with his colleagues, which is very unlikely in a corporate culture. Now that he has got experience, he has gained a little executive power in the company and is leveraging it to the fullest. While Tom, Dick, and Harry were sipping their preferred beverages during the coffee break, the trio were exchanging sights with the Giggle Girls.
Did you hear that Tattoo Girl has a thing for a Tom the Lion?
Yes, I have heard too.
Wow, you fox! Now you're hearing things. But yesterday, when I asked you to pay for my shuttle ride, you could not hear anything then.
You're right, Mr. Dick. I didn't hear anything related to money except it is credited. And I have twice better sound here reception in my right ear than your combined. But then I won't get your sympathy if I boasted about it.
Sympathy? You won't even get Dixon's dunk.
Guys, calm down. We have work to do. I have an idea that I have not shared in the room, and you people are going to work on that.
What idea do you have now?
So, you just call your contacts and ask if anyone is interested in that promotional offer that you suggested. I am going to talk to Indu madam about funding.
Sure, sounds like a good plan.
Yes.
The trio dispersed and the coffee break was over. Scene 6. Karan Das is in the office cabin of Mrs. Indu Bala.
Good evening, ma'am. I have something to tell you. Shall I?
Here, Karam, please tell me, what is it?
So, ma'am, as you are aware, there is a tough sales target for this quarter. I just wanted to know how much fund is allocated for the sales campaign that can boost up our sales numbers.
Frankly speaking, Karam, that's really tight. But Karam, you do whatever you want to do. You will have my full support.
Thank you so much for the assurance, madam. I'll let my team know right away.
Oh, okay. Karam, so tell me, what is your exact plan?
Well, I have this campaign idea. It involves our partners and grocery shops. We would fund stalls at their places. And for the big stores like Spencer's and Big Bazaar, we would put our kiosks right next to Amul. I think this can boost up our sales numbers by a huge margin.
Wow, Karam, what a great idea is it? I will immediately call up the uppers management and fix a meeting to set up a meeting. And I will let you know once I get a confirmation from them.
Thank you so much, madam, and have a very nice day.
Karam Das was feeling a proud moment of accomplishment. He sat down in his cubicle, slightly grinning about how much he could impress his boss with this brilliant idea. His heartbeat was leaping with anticipation of the meeting and started daydreaming about how he would present the idea in front of the upper management. Scene 7. The politics. No sooner had Karam left the office, Mrs. Indu picked her mobile and started dialing.
Yeah, hello Indu. Yeah, tell me, how are you?
Yeah, sir, I'm fine. Good evening, sir. Sir, is this a good time to talk to you?
Yes, please go ahead.
Actually, sir, today I was having a meeting with Mr. Karam Das and we were discussing the possible strategies to increase the sales numbers.
That's great.
Suddenly, yeah, sir, and brilliant idea came to me. I was thinking, how about if we start promotional campaign like sponsoring stalls at our business partners' outlets? What is your opinion? What do you think?
Oh, I think it's a great idea. You know that we have struggled a lot, and you know that I'll be in the board meeting by tomorrow. We have faced a lot of challenges in last 6 months. We are 20% below in our sales target. It's not doing good. I think it's a quite good idea. So better you can prepare one slide deck so that we can share with board of the members, and you can go ahead with that.
Thank you so much, sir. Sure, I will be ready with the detailed presentation and submit it to you.
Thank you. I'll just coming back from Mumbai in the head office and get back to you. All the best, Indu, to you and your team.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
After Mr. Vikram disconnected the call, Mrs. Indu calls Sakhi and Mithali to join in for a quick meeting at once.
May I come in, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, yeah, please, girls, come inside. Have a seat.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Girls, hope you are aware of the sales target of this quarter, right? We need to increase our sales at any cost. And look at this. I have prepared some notes for you. Like, we need to prepare a very detailed presentation of these details. And I need the list of new business partners from last 6 months and the list of vendors who has worked with the advertisement team. I hope you got this.
Yes, ma'am. I would like to take up the presentation.
Great, Mithali. Then, Sakhi, I would like you to take up the list of the business partners and vendors. Hurry up, girls. We have to start working on now. We have very short period of time.
Sure, ma'am. I will do it.
Ma'am, how much time we have?
Girls, you have this whole day. You can submit the presentation as well as the list by end of the day. That's it.
Okay,
Okay,
ma'am.
ma'am. Thank you.
The duo rushed towards their work desk to finish off their task as soon as possible. Scene 8. After 3 months, Vikram calls for a meeting with all, and nobody was aware of the reason.
Guys, please come and sit. You know, I'm also quite excited to share with all of you why I call upon a meeting today. So it's an amazing day. It's an amazing day for India Delight. I must share with all of you. We know that we have struggled a lot for the last 6 months, but do you know what happened? In this quarter, our sales grown by 60%. Please clap for yourself, all of you. I especially must congratulate to Indu and her team. What a fabulous job done by you and your team. And I feel proud to be lead such a great organizations. It's a great moment for us. So I just urge you, please keep up the good work. Well done, Indu and your team. Once again, I must say. So on behalf of this achievement in this evening, we are having a grand party for all of you. Let's join the party in the evening and let's enjoy. All the best to all of you. Bye-bye. Once again, please clap for the Indu and her team. Great done.
Thank you,
Job
sir.
done.
Thank you, sir.
Well done.
Thank you.
Now, thanking our role players, Mrunal as Vikram, Aniruddho as Karam, Shushmita as Kasturba, Maubani as Ella, Debanjana as Saki, Maubani again as Mitali, Kamal as Ballab, Shushmita as Indu, Shujit as Dixon, and Subbarao as Hariharan. Along with this, our continuity master, Arnav Banerjee, and our tech master, Arnav Datta. With that, I hope all of you enjoyed this drama and handing the stage back to our Toastmaster of the day, Prince.
Thank you very much. In essence, Toastmasters is a global family because it unites individuals from diverse backgrounds on a common mission to improve themselves. It fosters connections and a sense of belonging that transcends borders. It's a unique organization that promotes personal development, intercultural understanding, and global unity. How do you feel about Toastmasters being a global family? Soumita?
Needless to say, we are a global family, Prince, and we build ourselves by building others. As we come to the end of the session, we thank each one of you for being part of this 100th meeting ceremony of Globetrotters Toastmasters Club. We hope you make this event grand. We are divided by boundaries, yet united by Toastmasters, and let's keep this journey intact. I would like to thank everyone once again as I hand over the virtual podium to our presiding officer, Toastmaster Shushmita. A big round of applause for Toastmaster Shushmita.
Can I have a big round of applause for our both Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Soumita Sengupta and DTM Prince Leftridge too, for staying up so late with same energy. And I am really thankful to each members present here today and celebrating our 100th meeting. I want to once again I will share my screen while I share the appreciation thanks to the member, keynote speakers and everyone. Our heartfelt thanks to DTM Matt Kinsey for coming out and sharing his journey. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Then let me share. Just one second. We are thankful to our second keynote speaker, DTM Mark. Thank you, DTM Mark Hunter, for coming today. Thank you. Now, let's thank our third keynote speaker, DTM Brahm Memone. Thanks, DTM Brahm. Surely will take the charge. You have inspired a lot today. Thank you, DTM Ayan for engaging us in a very fun segment. It was awesome quiz section. We enjoyed a lot. It was really globetrotting virtually and in our mind. Thank you, DTM Ayan. Now it's time to thank our role players who has made this meeting really seamless. So our first Toastmaster of the day. Thank you, Toastmaster Soumita, for coming up and taking up this role and playing with great energy. Thank you, Toastmaster Soumita.
A point of order, Sushmita, we can just see the folder, not the actual thing that you're sharing. So I just thought I'd let you know. I think you're sharing certificates, but we can see you clicking on the certificate and the folder, but not the actual certificates.
You are not able to see the actual certificates?
Yes. You have to share your screen, not the folder.
Oh, acha. Yeah. I got it.
Yeah, for the role players, you might want to do that.
Correct. Sorry. Thank you. That's why we need people like you in our meeting. Well, sometimes it happens, some technical glitches, though you know it. So thank you, GTM all for correcting. Thank you. So we thanks GTM Prince Leftridge for taking up this Toastmaster of the Day role. And now it's time to thank our wonderful sir, DTM Sheshadev Jana. Thank you, DTM Sheshadev. Now, our members, Toastmaster Kshitij has played the role of Zoom Master, as well as he has maintained the guest book and everything. We appreciate his work. Also, thank you to Toastmaster Paranjit Singh for taking up the timer role. And thanks Hannah Smith for taking up this Zoom Master role and staying up for almost 3 hours. And with this, also we have certificates for our drama role players and everyone. But I'll be sharing with, as it is very late, already 3 hours are gone. I'll be share individually the drama role players name. We want to thank you, Toastmaster Rajarshi Roy, for helping us to practice this drama. Toastmaster Rajarshi Roy. I hope he is here. Thank you, Toastmaster Rajarshi. Now, it's time to share your feedbacks or whatever you say, if you want to say anything. I can see DTM Matt is still here with us. DTM Matt, please share if you have anything to share with us.
Thank you for inviting me and the warm welcome. I wish you the best on your continued journey. And I'm looking forward to District 124 walking across the stage as a Smedley Distinguished District.
Thank you so much. And I can see DTM Ayan Pal. Please, DTM Ayan, our immediate past president.
Not president. Thank you so much, Sushmita. That was a very, very enjoyable meeting indeed. I'm actually traveling. I'm in the southern city of Hyderabad. So I am also globetrotting as I'm attending this Globetrotters meeting, and I absolutely loved it. I think every speaker had, all the keynote speeches were very, very good. But I personally, I'm going to take back a lot from Matt Kinsey's speech. It's a speech we needed to listen to at this time. It's very, very important to sometimes just take a step back and reflect. And maybe we all need to tell ourselves what we see in ourselves. So thank you, Matt, for sharing that wonderful story with us, rather stories, and a really, really effective meeting. Loved the drama at the end. It was very dramatic and for the right reasons. You all pulled off a coup, and I loved it. All parts of it, all bits of it. Congratulations once again on your 100th meeting. And may you continue to inspire and invoke a sense of the traveler within us all through our meetings. Thank you, and back to you, Sushmita.
Thank you so much. So, DTM Prince, you have played, I know, Toastmaster of the Day. Now, if you could share a couple of words for us once again.
Thank you very much. This has been a very fun and enjoyable session. I got to learn some things about people from across the pond and our common love of Toastmasters. So, with that being said, I would like to visit this club a little more often. And by the way, Ayan, I've got some Chicago trivia questions for you. So be ready because I will stick you because I'm very versed in my home city. Back to you, Madam President.
Thank you so much, DTM Prince. We have with us our drama director, Toastmaster Rajoshi Roy. I am not Toastmaster Rajoshi. If you are still there and can turn on your audio or video, anything, it would be really nice.
Yeah, thank you very much, Toastmaster Sushmita. Before anything else, I must say that my association with Globetrotters traces back to the time when the club was planning its demo meetings, and it was not even chartered. So from there to today, when the club is celebrating its 100th session, the club indeed has come a long way, and I really want to congratulate and really thank each and every member for bringing this club to this level. I think the club has been doing exceedingly well, going from strength to strength. And I think as a proud president, Sushmita sits today, and all the honorary mentions that she did at the beginning, I think it truly deserves every bit of it. And to the drama group, I would say that, of course, I'd leave it to the audience to say whether it was good, bad, ugly, horrible, what. But to me as the director, I think this has been a stupendous performance by each one of you. I think you've gone leaps and bounds from where you were during the rehearsals. And I think the true spirit of the 100th meeting came out through each one of you today. So congratulations once again, Globetrotters. You are definitely on the way to the zenith. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Toastmaster Rajoshi. Now, the person whom I cannot leave, DTM Brahm Memone. We are really thankful you showed us a lot how to improve every time. So please, could you please come on stage and share a couple of words?
You're muted.
Thank you. I already said the most important part. When I come to a club and I look at what will make this club successful or why is it successful, and I know why your club is very successful. You have this camaraderie amongst yourselves that, as Matt said, the relationship, right, amongst yourselves. It's a relationship building thing. And I always emphasize in my own clubs and whenever I go train in other clubs is to connect deeply. And I think you guys are connected so deeply and you have such a great relationships with each other. As the previous speaker said, you are going to go to the zenith and beyond. You guys are just amazing. The drama that you did, oh my goodness, I was like wrapped with attention that the amount of detail, the amount of practice that you did, which means you really built that close relationship to be able to do such a drama, right? I'm totally impressed with Globetrotters Toastmasters Club, and you guys are just amazing. Thank you so much for the invitation and the opportunity as well, and to meet Matt Kinsey here and Mark Hunter, and of course, Renal is a member of a leadership speaker, my home club. So it's been great, and congratulations. Can keep going, keep building, keep going, keep being positive, and keep taking charge. And the star isn't the limit. Your minds are the limit, so keep growing. Thank you so much. Glory. Thank you.
Thank you so much, DTM Brahm. And the person who was behind who has behind the cameras most of the times couldn't get a chance, DTM Hannah Smith. She has to take the Zoom thing. I know it's for a 3 hours long meeting. It's really difficult. So DTM Hannah Smith, please share your experience. And everyone, please share your feedback, we have already shared the feedback form. DTM Hannah, you are on mute.
The most famous 3 words in Toastmasters. You are on mute. Thank you very much, Soumita and Rinald, for inviting me to this wonderful organization. Although it's been 3 hours, but it didn't feel like 3 hours. They went by so quickly with these 3 keynote speeches and your drama queen. Wow, that was good. Thank you very much. I'll come and join you again. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. I guess for a couple of people that the whole day is waiting, they want to enjoy their Sunday. And for few, it's already late. They are waiting for their dinner, or probably they want to go to bed. If anyone has anything to share, please share. This is the networking time. If you want, I can turn off the video, turn off the recording also. Thank you once again. And I will be sharing the certificates to each and every role players of today's meeting. Thank you once again, everyone. So last but not the least, let me call someone very special who has done really great behind this meeting. I will call him. Before that, I really want to thank someone who has done amazing job to promote this meeting is our Toastmaster Kamal Banik from GTC. He has done amazing peer activities for last 1 month, even more than 1 month. Now, I would like to call up on stage our area director and our members also, Toastmaster Mrinal Kanti Ghosh.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, DTM Matt Kinsey, DTM Mark Hunter, DTM Brahm, DTM Ayan, DTM Prince, Soumita, and all the fellow Toastmasters of Globetrotters Toastmaster clubs, DTM Rajashree, and all of them. I think it's all about teamwork. We are in club level, we just try to conduct such kind of meeting because it's all about relations. Matt already told about the relation connections that play a very critical role. You should love from your heart. That is important. And as a team, we had did that. Is it possible because of teamwork? We play a lot of efforts on this meeting, lot of activity. We know that today is a cricket match. Cricket match is quite popular in India. Match between India and South Africa. Till people are present in the meeting. And we spend 3 hours. It's a privilege for us. Just most of the members are still there till 3 hours. Normally, I know this is a very lengthy meeting, but till you people all present there, support us, energize us to do better. And our aim for the next level, how we can connect globally. This is our themes. We all are in now one family. Globally well, after post-COVID era, we are in one family. So that part, we need to take advantage on that. We can connect anywhere in the globe. We can learn it. As an all member, we can grow. So that's the spirit of Toastmaster. With that, I just want to say listen from final word from Matt Kinsey and Brahm Memone. Any final word from Matt Kinsey for us?
Thank you for being here. I wish you the absolute best and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you so much. Brahm, you're muted.
Thank you for the opportunity to serve. And I know that I'll be invited to the 1000th meeting as well, because you are on your way. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much once again, our Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Soumita and DTM Prince. You are doing wonderful job because Toastmaster of the day play a very critical role in success of any kind of meeting. So kudos to both of you. And finally, I just want to say, great effort done by Soumita, Devanjana, and all Kamal, Sitish, and all the team members of Globetrotters Toastmaster Club. Without your support, such kind of meeting is not possible. I'll salute your dedications. Thank you so much from my side.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Mrinal. Everyone now, please feel free to come on stage, else we are like done with this meeting. I will off the record, ask our host to off the recording. Thank you, everyone. Just give me a